Yo, 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 guys. Happy Sunday. We are just waiting for Cody Barton, my business partner, to jump in here, and we are going to get started on Sunday service. For those of you who don't know what Sunday service is about, service started about a year and a half ago. And Cody and I started it originally because there was a lot of local investors having a lot of questions during the week about our individual business. And so we started Sunday service actually on a phone call. It was a free phone call that we used to do. And we stopped doing it as a phone call because it just got overwhelming. The free phone call-in service that we were using actually got overwhelmed and we couldn't get enough people on. So we started doing it on Instagram Live, and then Instagram Live started having issues, and that's when we started this Facebook page. So thank you guys for joining. When we stopped doing this on the Facebook group, probably back in February, the last time we had a really big turnout. We had about an average of 600 plus people watching live. So yo, what up?
Yo, what up?
How's it going, bro?
It's good. It's good. Just gonna eat some food here today.
What was that you restarted, bro?
What?
Was that your Mac that you restarted?
Yeah.
Hey guys, you're Dwanell. I am 25. I'm younger than Cody. I did shave today. I am younger than Cody. So yes.
Dude, I was gonna say you're looking crisp.
I was just telling everybody how we started this originally like a year and a half ago, how it used to be on the phone call.
Yeah.
It was, and then it got to a point where it was just too challenging. Like what we would do is we would talk about our business and whatever we were doing for the first 30 minutes. And then we would open it up to questions for the final 30 minutes.
Yep.
I think this is a much better platform, don't you think?
Yeah, no, it's funny. It's like, I feel like that was like ancient history now.
I know. But that's where it started. And a lot of people, like there's a lot of people jumping in here for the first time. So I wanted to tell everybody that's how it started. I remember we would do it 7 o'clock Sunday night, which is typically when we did it. And we would have Anna on and any acquisition people we had working for us talking about deals that we were doing at the time. And then we would just hammer through questions primarily about wholesale because although we were doing creative deals, it just didn't seem like anybody gave a crap about it. And then over the course of 4 or 5 months, that phone call just got too much to manage. I remember we brought 4 people on one phone call that had recently done a deal with us. And so we wanted them all to talk about the deals they'd done with us, right? Tech Chang, what's up, dog?
What up?
So that just got too much to manage. And so now StreamYard is light years ahead of that, like how easy it is to have feedback, right? So like we start talking about a topic and then you realize somebody has a question about something you're talking about live and you're like, oh, great, let's stop, redirect our conversation towards that exact topic until it's completely answered, right?
Yeah.
Let's answer a question real quick. This is you, Cody.
George, what list should we focus on now? I think right now, one of the best lists, and it has been, but still, even right now with everything going on with coronavirus, I think it's still going to be absentee owners, out-of-state owners that have vacant properties, vacant out-of-state owners, because there's a lot of uncertainty. There's going to be people that have fear, and you got to start thinking about like pre-foreclosures right now. I think are going to get tougher because of everything with the forbearances. People aren't going to feel the pressure of I have to leave and have to figure out a solution. They're going to kind of sit. So you have to look at the people that are thinking about maybe their second home or investment property, or they moved out of state and just forced into having or maybe a rental out of state. There's a lot of people that are looking at selling right now. So, yep, absentee owners out of state with high equity. Yep, I think that's one of the best lists to focus on right now, is for sure.
Yeah, actually the deal that we just got the other day, 0 down, 0% interest, was a absentee owner, high equity, but we still ended up buying it on creative. So a lot of people think you should be searching for people with no equity. just to do creative deals. That's not the case. I mean, we ended up doing a hybrid deal with this guy. Actually, not a hybrid deal, full seller finance.
Yeah.
He has his house paid off free and clear. We bought it for probably 30 grand under retail, but we're putting zero down and we're at 0% interest. So in our world, for you and I, that's like a free house.
Yeah.
And that came from a vacant property owner list, our absolute owner list, high equity. So guys, don't get this confused that you think that in order for you to go do creative deals, you have to go after no equity. That is not the case. A lot of our people, so Garvin Thomas, I can tell you probate list is one of the best lists forever, like for all time. Any time of the year, no matter what city you're in, probate is amazing. I would say last year, I mean, before I even linked up and partnered with Cody at the very beginning of the year, I made like 100 grand in 2 months on the probate list. And probate list is absolutely amazing. So how's our probate list? I think it seems like the probate list that we're getting every single month is like only 300 or 400 leads every single month right now in Maricopa County.
Yeah, it's not a ton, but we get ours from, obviously, that was your connection on that. Initially was alltheleads.com, and getting the probate list off of there comes pre-skip traced. So that's done really well. I mean, Tino and Nick have a really promising probate opportunity that they just went on an appointment on Thursday, and they're supposed to be following up and meeting him tomorrow, basically to figure out if we're going to structure it as a wholesale or creative finance. But super motivated, ready to go, just finished probate. Anna just got a call on one literally yesterday. She might have mentioned that one to you. A guy that inherited a mobile home, and it took like 8 or 9 months, and he just finished the process, and he called her back like Friday to set up a time for us to go out there and take a look at it.
When's the appointment?
I think it's tomorrow. Pretty sure set up either tomorrow or Tuesday.
Okay, so I just got a question here. Gonzalo Pereira. Pace, I know you've talked about this over 100 times. I would say I've talked about this maybe 30 times, not quite 100. By the time the year is over, I can guarantee I will have talked about it 100 times, and I am perfectly fine talking about it 100, 200, 300 times, because this is true. This is a question that constantly pops up because there's gurus, there's people all over the country that talk about you need to buy in a land trust, okay? So let's look at this. We've got a house, okay? I want to buy this house. Gonzalo, let me ask you a question, okay? Gonzalo, what is the purpose of buying in a land trust? In fact, I want to get you on the live. So do me a favor, Gonzalo. You better have brushed your teeth and combed your hair because we're going to throw you on the live. I just sent the link to the live right there in the comments. So I'd love to get you on here because I want to ask you a couple of questions. So Gonzalo, get on the live and we'll get in here and answer your question, okay? What does marketing to probate look like, Cody?
There's different ways to do it, but we're doing the same type of marketing that we're doing with every other type of lead, which is texting the personal representative for the state. So the personal representative is who we're texting and cold calling to. So that's, primarily what we're doing. And then another thing is building relationships with probate attorneys, because the probate attorney, contrary to popular belief, some people think that they're bothering a probate attorney or causing issues for them by wanting to buy the house. It's the way you approach them, I think, is more what matters. But you're not actually causing an issue for a probate attorney because you're actually solving a problem. That probate attorney is going to get paid most of the time when that asset, the house, has been sold. So you have to look at that these attorneys, they want to get the process moved along as quickly as we do. Yeah.
So Marlon, there you go. There's an answer. Somebody asked another question. By the way, one of my favorite names of all the people that watch our shows, check this out. This is the best name ever. Check out her last name. That's a dope last name. Joel Wigglesworth. Like, really? That's a cool ass name, dude. Okay, so Jewel Wigglesworth, we're going to bring this up 1 million times. It happens all the time. And I don't know why this is the case. It actually doesn't happen. Like the hundreds and hundreds of deals that we've done, do you know how often we run into real estate agent deals? Maybe one a quarter, maybe one.
Yeah, it's that. And then most of the time the agents are blowing it up. So it's...
So here's the answer, Jewel. I would love to get you on the live. So I sent you the link, Jewel. If you've brushed your teeth and combed your hair today, and you don't mind getting on the live, jump on that link. Let's get you on the live because I want to talk to you about this specifically. It's a really great question. Okay, Gonzalo.
Yo.
If you
What's up, guys?
If you have a crappy internet feed, I have to kick you off, but it seems like yours is actually pretty good.
Okay. I'm good. Are we good?
Yeah, you're good. You're a handsome guy, bro. I wasn't not expecting you. It looks like you brushed your teeth and combed your hair today.
Thanks, bro. Try to.
So tell me, let's go through this. Let me ask you a question. Why would you want to buy through a land trust?
Anonymity is my guess. That's why I'm kind of asking, because I'm getting mixed answers from everybody that I kind of ask.
Okay,
Some
people that teach about land trusts online, like Ron LeGrand and some other people, that's kind of an old school methodology, right? So here's what they're basing it off of. They're basing it off of the Garn-St. Germain Act. And in the Garn-St. Germain Act, it basically says that if you transfer property into a family planning trust, then you cannot call the due on sale clause. Okay? Number one, a land trust is not a family planning trust.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it is not even it's like not even technically an entity. But land trusts are amazing. Here's what land trusts do. Land trusts so basically, I buy this house, right? Are you watching me on the screen?
I got a monitor right here. I'm watching through the monitor.
I just want to make sure you're not like watching somebody else's YouTube or something.
Nah. I'm watching you right here. I should go like this, but then I'd be staring at a blank screen.
No, I get it, dude. I get it. So I want to buy this house, right? And I ultimately want to own that house in this LLC, right?
Right.
So if I buy it in the land trust, who's the owner of that property?
If you buy it in the land, you mean who's on title?
Yeah.
The trustee, no?
So the land trust, basically it shows that the land trust is the owner, but it will not name the actual beneficiary on title in certain states. So it'll say, 123 Main Street right here. 123 Main Street is owned by such and such land trust. And then you can't see anything past that, right?
Right.
So there's the benefit of buying in a land trust.
Yeah.
The challenge is that in Arizona, the title companies will not close on a transaction if you do not name the beneficiary on the land trust.
Okay. So that varies state to state, though, is what I'm guessing.
There's actually only 2 states that do this, okay? Now, when you actually start doing the research, the land trust really doesn't add anything. It's just more filing. It's more whatever. It does not do anything, okay? So who's the actual owner of the property? Who's the beneficiary of that land trust is the LLC.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so let's go through how I do it. I can see the benefit here, but at the end of the day, this does not stop the due on sale clause. It absolutely does not stop the due on sale clause. So people think that it does, but it does not. Okay. The benefit here to a land trust is that yes, you get anonymity, but what if I can get anonymity a different way?
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to see how I get anonymity?
How?
So my LLC, who's the owner of my LLC? If you looked up my LLC, do you see my name as the owner?
I'm guessing no.
The answer is no. The owner of my LLC is another LLC. Who's the owner of that LLC?
Another one.
A family trust.
A family trust. Okay.
Okay. So guess what? I actually did transfer the ownership of that property into a estate planning trust. So following the Garn-St. Germain Act, if that actually does provide any value, which in my opinion does not. We
Okay.
have actually had the due on sale clause called on us.
Mm-hmm.
None of that stops any of it. The only thing the land trust should do not think it's going to add any protection for the due on sale clause, because it does not. If the bank's going to foreclose on it, the bank's going to push for foreclosure. The only thing a land trust does for you is add additional paperwork in order to get that anonymity. But what if I just buy in an LLC that's held by, so I won't tell you the names of my LLCs because I don't want you guys looking at my properties and bothering my tenants, because I can guarantee some knucklehead in here that will. So I have an LLC. If you pull it up, the owner of that is not, it basically is called such and such holding LLC. I actually named my LLC such and such holdings, okay? Because that LLC right there owns and holds like 50 different LLCs.
Right.
Okay, and then that holding company is owned by my family trust.
Yeah.
Make sense? So
yeah, it makes sense. So I guess the reason why I'm asking is like so what do you suggest like a beginner do?
This.
You just do that?
Because bro, the reality is you should have this structure regardless. This is the proper structure in any state under any circumstance to own a real estate company.
So do you open a family? How do you open a family trust? Is that with an attorney?
A estate planning attorney.
An estate planning attorney. Okay.
Okay. Now mine was highly expensive because I had like 45 LLCs at the time. But when you're just starting out, you can go get a family trust and all that kind of stuff. Probably set up for like $1,300.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm not saying go get the trust. I'm saying at least start an LLC. Get the LLC started and then start building. I know that's what Cody did. Cody had an LLC and then Cody went back after I told him this is what he needed to do.
Right.
It was years before I met Cody, but after I met Cody, Cody went and would that take you like 30 days or so, Cody?
Yeah. The coronavirus delayed it, but it would have been done even faster. But I just got that set up like 2 weeks ago.
Gonzalo, if the owner of this LLC shows up as the owner of this LLC, and then the owner of that LLC shows up as that family trust, and that family trust, you cannot find out who the actual owner is without taking me to court.
Mm-hmm.
What would be the benefit of a land trust in this situation?
No, there's no benefit.
Here's what's ironic. The people who buy properties in land trusts, guess what else they do? They do the exact same thing.
Right.
So it's not like because I have a land trust, I don't need to do this. They're just doing this on top of it. So I ask people, instead of answering the question by just saying you don't need it, I just ask people, why do you think you need it? And let's pick and choose. Let's pick through that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I'm following you. Yeah, I guess like you said, there's so much skewed information because all the gurus.
Do you know
what I mean?
Why they talk about land trusts?
Do I know why they talk about them? No.
Because they get paid to talk about land trusts, so they refer you to their land trust, the people who set up land trusts, and they get paid a referral fee.
No, I can only imagine. Yeah.
Right. So I think buying in a land trust actually adds a nice layer. But here's the reality is like, I can't do it in Arizona. So why would I do it anywhere else? I would just rather do it the way that I know how to do it. I've sat down with multiple attorneys. I've sat down with multiple attorneys in different states. I have attorneys licensed in multiple states, and this has been verified as the best way to set up my corporate structure.
I got you, man. That's awesome. I appreciate that for sure.
I don't even have a stick of gum in my name. Like I don't have my cell phone name in my name. If you pull up my license, okay, so like this is part of anonymity. If you pull up my license, the address on my license is not even my personal house. The address on my license is a post office box. So if I get like a speeding ticket or I get served or something, somebody's looking for me, they want to pull up public record, you can't find out where I live. You're
rogue.
I'm rogue. And so if I don't need a land trust to do that, then why does anybody else?
I got you, man.
That's helpful. If you look me up, you'd be like, this dude's broke. But then if I told you that I have this LLC, you would see all the other LLCs attached to it, and you would see all the properties that I own, although you could not verify that I own any of those, because technically, even on the corporate documents and every single thing that I sign, do you think I sign any of my own documents?
Nah.
I have an attorney that signs all of our documents and creates all of our LLCs. So even in the LLC creation, the attorney takes my place. And so you can never find my name on anything.
Right. That's good. Yeah, for sure.
Right. So for me, I look at a land trust. I'm like, I like the extra layer, but I don't think it justifies the extra paperwork that comes with it. And people also say, well, if somebody says, well, I want to buy it, I want to use a land trust because it helps me protect from the due on sale clause, that's not true. If somebody says I use a land trust because it adds extra anonymity, I say, yeah, I can see that, but that's like adding an 8th layer to a 7-layer dip. Like, do you really need an 8th layer?
Yeah.
A 7-layer dip is already dope as shit. Like, why do you need an 8th layer?
Facts. Yeah.
So
I got you.
If somebody says, hey, I use land trust, I go, awesome. That's your strategy. That makes sense, but it's not going to protect against the due on sale clause.
I got you, man. For sure.
You're the man, dude. I appreciate you jumping on here.
I appreciate you guys, bro. Hey, I'm telling you, I've been losing so much sleep watching all your videos, bro. But I'm learning so much, so I appreciate that.
Are we helpful at all? Are you learning anything?
Way too helpful, man. Way too helpful, for sure. I appreciate you guys.
You must live in a hot climate because you have an air conditioning unit on your wall.
I'm in Florida, bro. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, makes sense. You got to be in Florida to have one of those bad boys attached to your wall.
I don't even use it. No, I bought this house and it was there, so it's there.
Those things are great, dude. Like when you have a little room that needs like a little bump, that's funny that you don't end up using. But
yeah.
Dude, where in Florida are you?
I'm in Orlando, man. Orlando.
Next time Cody and I visit Orlando to come visit Tommy and a couple of our other buddies, we'll come and hang out, all right?
Yeah, I'd be honored, man, for sure.
Appreciate you, brother.
I appreciate you, man.
See ya. Hopefully that answers the question, guys, like loud and clear. Like, if you have an LLC, do I start over to structure this or can I start from there? So personally, here's what I would do. I would do everything you have in an LLC that you have existing, and then go create a new structure that does not attach to that LLC you currently have in your name. Okay. And the reason for that is now, and Cody's the same way, I believe, but I have LLCs outside of the structure that I owned before I set the structure up. You don't want to move those LLCs into the structure because then people can track, oh, this LLC was in Pace's name. Then this new structure was created and Pace brought that LLC over to this new structure. And then you exposed yourself and you expose all the ownership of that corporate structure. So hopefully that makes sense. How do you structure that considering you have a team that gets paid from the same properties? What's the team payment system? So here's technically how it works for Cody and I. Can you see all this, Cody?
No, the question covers it up a little bit. If you move your camera, yeah, there you go.
Okay, so here's how it technically works, guys. So these two lines right here, I'm gonna break this down for you guys real quick. So this is Pace. This is Cody. So if Cody and I own this LLC together, which we do, we own this LLC together. Cody owns 50%, boom. And then Cody has his own structure over here, his own completely different structure. Pace has his LLC and it goes over to my holding company. Cody and I own this LLC together. Okay, what's cool about this LLC is that this LLC actually owns another 5 or 6 LLCs together. So Cody and I have multiple businesses together. Not only do we have a fix and flip business, we have a wholesale business, we have a buy and hold business, we have ownership in other businesses. So because Cody and I basically own all of these things together, we have an LLC that is owned 50% by one of my LLCs and 50% by one of his LLCs, okay? And then we have an operating agreement that says, well, because we own this 50-50, if we have an argument, we have to go to somebody to do not arbitrage. What am I looking for? What's the word?
Arbitration?
Arbitration. We have to go to arbitration if we have a disagreement. Now, Cody and I own multiple LLCs together. So let's say that this is my buy and hold LLC, and every time Cody and I go buy 25 properties, we create a new LLC. Every time we buy 25 more properties, we create another LLC underneath that LLC. I'm getting into the weeds a little bit, but that's truly how it is. Do you have all your LLCs in Arizona? If not, why not? No, I don't. Yes, I do. So again, this is the funny thing about people that don't understand that they go create all these LLCs in Wyoming and Montana and Vegas because they're like, well, I want anonymity. Well, why do you want extra anonymity beyond what I've already created? Right? I don't need to go and have these LLCs. And I had like a handful of mediation would be the word. Yes, great. Thanks for catching us. So I appreciate that. It's hard to like stand here and perform and then remember every word. So the answer to that is, if I go to Nevada and I have an LLC that owns my LLCs here, guess what? When I get into a lawsuit, I have to defend myself not only here in Arizona, but I have to defend myself in Las Vegas. So I have to find a very specific attorney who's licensed in both places. That doesn't make sense to me. Why not just set up my corporate structure that I have a family trust that protects everything and I have massive anonymity? Then I don't have to mess with multiple states LLC or multiple states income tax and all that kind of stuff and figure out how that works. Guys, just keep it simple. I promise you, people overthink this. And I swear to you, there's like attorneys on Instagram, or not Instagram, but attorneys on YouTube and people all over the place that are trying to sell you on corporate structures that require a lot more billable hours, and they want to make it as complex as possible. If you just keep it simple, I promise you, you'll go, wow, why doesn't everybody just keep it simple? Well, if everybody kept it simple, nobody would make any money in the attorney field. I'm just being honest, right? It's the same thing as like, if I just went to Jiffy Lube and got an oil change every time, Jiffy Lube would never make any money. That's why they tell me my windshield wipers are broken and my this is that, your power steering fluid's low. Really? Like how low? Like one drop, or like I won't be able to turn if I don't? Well, it's really not that bad. Okay, well, how much are you gonna charge me? Well, $300, whatever. Guys, everybody's out to make money off of you. So keep it very, very simple. Do not overthink this, but this is Cody and my corporate structure. Now, I don't know what Cody's corporate structure looks on his side, but I assume it's the same as mine because he has the same estate planning attorney as I do, right? So I went to my estate planning attorney. I set all this stuff up. It cost me a lot of money because I had so many businesses at the time. And the fun thing is now, like when we just created a new LLC the other day for a new business we started. It has nothing to do with real estate. I mean, in a weird way, it kind of does, but Cody goes over, sets up, you put the LLC underneath this, right? So you just created another LLC over here.
Yep.
So every time Cody and I create another business, we just create another LLC under our existing business. Does that help? Does anybody get any value on that? What's the advantage of having an S Corp? So an S Corp is so everything's an LLC. So people think that it's either an S Corp or an LLC. It's not. It is always an LLC. But once you get to a point where you're taking $50,000 a year or more from your company, you want to now file your taxes as an S Corp. So you're still an LLC, but you're filing your taxes as an S Corp. Okay? So guys, if I'm like just going over your head, this is partly why the mentorship is so helpful, because I like get into this stuff for hours. Serge, bro, if you have questions about this stuff, jump on the live. Okay. If anybody has questions they want to answer. Hi, Sarah. She's awesome, by the way. Sarah, I appreciate you always supporting us and saying super nice things about us online. What's the purpose of making new LLCs after a certain amount of deals? Well, because when somebody does a corporate search, let's say, and they want to find anybody that has more than a significant amount of properties, typically they start at 25 properties or more would be a pretty significant portfolio. So we keep our purchases at 20 properties or less, so that when people are doing a corporate search and they're looking for anybody with a significant amount of significant amount of properties in one LLC, they won't pull up any of our LLCs. It's just a little added benefit, and just making sure that we divide our liability, we divide our exposure so people can't find us. I'd much rather have 10 LLCs that have 20 properties than one LLC that has 200. You just want to break it down. And then breaking it down to a point where you have one LLC per, dude, I don't, Cody, where were we where somebody suggested to us that we have an LLC per property?
Oh my gosh, that attorney, I wanted to jump off a building when he said that.
I was like, are you kidding me? Okay, so of course, again, where does that come from? That comes from somebody wanting to bill you and make sure that they're making plenty of money off of you. So guys, yeah, truly, like people think that an S Corp and an LLC are two different things. They are not. An S Corp is not an entity. S Corp is the way you file taxes for the LLC, okay? Can you talk about cross segregation? What cross segregation studies are? Luke Maldonado. No, I feel like that's kind of a joke, but let's see. It's been around forever, just like wholesaling. Stay plugged in, and you'll see that this is a seasonal shift, just like always. Mark must be talking about something. Would you use your last name in the business name? Let me ask you that. Gary, I want to ask you that question. So Marlon, jumping on here. Segregation studies.
Hey.
Luke Maldonado. No, I feel like Marlon, put your computer on mute, bro.
There we go. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, so first off, by the way, that marathon was absolutely nuts. Like, you made my brain expand so far. Neo in the Matrix, like the Jedi, the first time they figure out the Force. Like, oh my God.
Appreciate it, dude. When I left, unfortunately, like Facebook kicked me out because it only lets me go for 8 hours. And I realized like Facebook was going to kick me out as 9 o'clock at night. And I go, okay, I can keep going. I actually felt like on that 16-hour marathon, I barely scratched the surface on everything.
Dude, don't even tell me that, man, because I'm already upset that I didn't know that you had a mentorship thing going on. I'm just like, thank you. Thank you.
It's great, dude. Like on Saturday, we went 3 hours, like unexpected with our mentorship guys. Like like Friday night, I go, guys, I have something I want to talk about. We're going to go live tomorrow. So for 3 hours, we went through comping the deal, the recording of the deal, the documents of the deal, how we got like every little thing. And the guys who were watching the 3 hour live were just like, I just got all my money's worth out of this one Zoom call. So bro, like the mentorship is absolutely a blast. But anyway, what's your question, brother? How you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing good. So as far as the LLCs, the corporate structuring,
yeah,
how many homes would you stack into an LLC? I think you said about 20.
20. So there's kind of a fine line. This is like, what's your appetite, right? So there are people that are absolutely crazy and they'll be like, I want to buy every LLC I own, only one property is in it. And I'm like, okay, well, what if you're just doing a fix and flip? Like now you've owned that or let's say, Marlon, do you kind of follow what a lease option is and like how quickly somebody can buy you out on a lease option?
Yes.
Okay. So if I go do an LLC on one lease option deal, right? So I buy the house subject to, I sell it out on a lease option, and that person, refinances us out in 6 months, which has happened to me. I just created an LLC for one stupid property, and I got accounting just for one stupid property.
So that was going to be my next question. As far as accounting, if you have the LLCs all being funneled through the holding LLC, is the holding LLC the only one that you're running taxes on, or are you?
For me personally, my personal paycheck comes from my holding company. So when Cody and my LLC pays out a distribution, it pays me, right? So it goes to PACE. That's where I'm paying my personal liability, right? But that's a great question. How are you set up right now? Do you have an LLC set up?
No, I'm actually gonna sit down and do that tomorrow. I mean, I have an LLC, but not for this. But I'm gonna sit down and set up my real estate corporations for starting tomorrow.
So like if you were in my mentorship, I would actually show you guys my corporate documents and like show you. That's not like really part of the mentorship technically, but I just kind of have a problem. I want to show everybody everything, right? Like I want to show you every nitty gritty detail. So I will show my people in my mentorship, my family trust, like the documents, the folder, what it looks like, how I've filled it out, like everything that looks like. Most people, when I say family trust, are like, what is that? Right? So what I would do is I would start with the end in mind, and I would start researching family trust, and then have a holding company, and then have operating LLCs underneath that. Okay. The holding company is where I take my distribution from. So like I'll pay myself to the holding company. The holding company never has any money in it. It just holds LLCs, and then it receives my paycheck, which ultimately goes over to me personally. Does that make sense?
Yes, no, that makes perfect sense.
So if you're going to, here's the thing is, if you're going to create another LLC for this business, what I would wait is I would operate your business in the existing LLC you have until you can go and build a family trust, and then build LLCs underneath that. You want to make sure the family trust is there because it creates massive anonymity.
Right. I spoke with an estate planning group, Anderson, and they kind of broke it down. The exact same structure that you have, they broke it down, except they were also suggesting the LLC per home, and I didn't quite necessarily agree with that. Your way makes a little bit more sense to me.
So here's the thing I was just going to say. So Anderson Business Advisors, I would say, have some of the best content on YouTube. Okay, he is absolutely unbelievable. His YouTube for LLC structure and stuff is very, very good. The problem is everything comes from the point of how can I make more money. So like for my same corporate structure, when I had my wife call Anderson Business Advisors, and it was like 5 times what it would have normally cost if I just did it here with a local person. So I would try and find somebody local. Anderson's great, but like, bro, of course they're going to suggest a different LLC for every house you buy because they're charging $1,000 per LLC. Whereas I can create an LLC now. Like Cody, how much did our LLC the other day cost? Like maybe $150?
Yeah, I mean, not much.
Yeah. So Marlon, like it's good to get good advice from them, but ultimately you have to figure out where's the advice coming from, and is there a financial gain in this advice for that attorney? And Anderson Business Advisor, probably some of the best content out there, but a lot of his content is directing you towards his ability to monetize on you.
Absolutely. I definitely recognize it's a sale and they have a product. It's a great product, but it could be you're paying a premium for not knowing where else to go and how to do it on your own.
Right. So for us, the happy balance. So we're lucky enough to be friends with like very high level people in the information market. So actually there's a company here locally named the Information Market. That's literally the name of the company. And they sell data at a massive scale. And one of the pieces of data that we've bought from them is we want to know what types of searches people are doing on corporate structures like our own, so that we can figure out how to avoid being searched. So for example, one of the things that we paid for is we found out that typically when a big lawyer or somebody's doing an asset search, they're looking for any company that has 25 or more properties. Otherwise, it's not worth their time to get into litigation, okay? So if we stay at 20 houses or less, that keeps us well underneath that 25 layer barrier. And then also allows us to have 20 houses in one LLC, so we're not completely overwhelmed with filing taxes on 20 different LLCs for 20 different properties.
Thank you for having a reason behind everything you do.
Of course. I mean, the thing is, like, people are, I'm a monkey see, monkey do kind of guy, and I absolutely go crazy when people give me some bullshit or, run around type of answer. And so you're never going to get those kind of answers from me.
No, I appreciate it. I mean, that's like what I've been noticing, and that's why I'm back here and again with you on. As far as you make videos, I'm there to watch them and to learn.
Appreciate you, bro. We only teach on what we do and what we know, and if we ever make a mistake, we'll correct it. If somebody proves us wrong, I will absolutely admit it. But everything Cody and I talk about are things that we're actively doing, and that's the fun part about learning from guys. Is like for me, like, would I go hire a 400-pound personal trainer?
No, not at all, because they're not living. They don't have the result you're looking for. You're looking.
Right. Would I go to a mechanic shop? So let me ask you a question. When you're driving down the road and your car needs new tires, are you going to pull into the body shop, or the car dealer? The tire dealer that has nobody in their lobby, or are you going to go to the one that's like has a line out the door?
Why not?
Right. You want to go to the people where it's, they're proven that they're actively doing good business, right? And so I appreciate you supporting us, and I appreciate that video you posted in the Facebook group, bro. None of that stuff is missed on me, and I appreciate what you did and the time you took to make sure you did that.
And I appreciate everything that you've provided. Seriously, like, this has been the hands down most valuable education I have ever received. And I really truly appreciate that.
That's amazing.
Like, you are a phenomenal teacher. And
wow, dude.
I teach for a living. I teach parkour. I coach kids in parkour. I've been doing it for the past 8 or 9 years. And I've learned, like, I take my coaching and teaching very seriously. And I want to do the best to actually help people when I'm teaching them anything. You do that. You did that for all this past week.
Yeah, somebody told me like 2 years ago, they said the success of any coach is based on the success of the students. And so we absolutely want to make sure that anybody that's learning from us, here's the other thing too. This is what's cool is like people ask us all the time, why do we do this for free, right? Like 99% of people watching us right now have never paid me a penny, right? So what's the benefit? Like I don't make any financial benefit, but here's where we're benefited in a weird way. Is if you look up the learning pyramid, if you Google the learning pyramid, you're going to learn that 90% of what we retain as human beings is something that you teach to somebody else. And so we want to grow and we want to learn. And by helping people out, ironically, it actually helps us grow even faster than if I was just sitting there on the couch reading a book.
Okay, so I literally, when I filled out your SubTo application thing after I watched your replay, one of the questions asked why, and I explained that you did such a complete job at teaching that a lot of people think teaching means I'm master, I teach the student how to do my skill. The real completion of teaching is I teach the student how to perform my skill, as well as teach that student to teach another student, and that student to perform the skill.
Yes.
And that is actually when the teaching circle has come full circle. And you did that because after you taught me, I literally went and talked to everyone and taught it to anyone I would I taught it to my mom. My mom was looking at me like, and I was like, no, mom, like, seriously, like, just listen to me. And she's skeptical as hell. And by the end of it, she was like, oh, fuck, I would sell you my house. And I was like, I know. So thank you. Like, seriously, thank you.
Thank you, brother. Stay tuned. This is like, for people who have been following Cody and I for the last year and a half have been, they've been learning a lot. It's fun. Like here locally, there's a couple of guys that we got them their first. Actually, here, let me tell you a quick story. There was a guy here locally. He went out, spent $60,000 on coaching, right? And the guy who was mentoring him never returned phone calls, never gave him, like, look what we're doing for free. Like, think about what we do for our paid people, right? So this guy wasn't returning his call, whatever, and he went through like this 6-month mentorship. He literally was like calling cash buyers, and because Cody and I actually own properties, we are a cash buyer. So he gets a hold of me on my personal cell phone. He goes, hey, my name, I'm not going to say his real name, but he's like, hey, my name is Pete. And is this, Pace? I want to add you to my buyers list. I go, yeah, man, tell me, what do you have? And he goes, well, I don't have anything yet. I'm like, okay, well, we got to fix that, bro. Like, if you're going to call cash buyers, we need to get you a property. How can I help you? So fast forward, a week later, he got his first deal, and it was a subject to, okay? Because I literally went to his appointment. I walked through, I closed the contract. That's the house on Manchester, Cody, by the way. So we walked through, and then boom, it was like bing, 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 bing. And now that guy has like 4 acquisition guys, a partner, and they're doing 5-6 deals a month. And he's never paid me a penny, right? So we truly love helping people. Now, obviously, if you're in my mentorship program, it's like you see, like you guys are seeing the outside layers of the onion. Maybe we peeled that back one layer. The guys in the mentorship like go all the way down to the onion seed. You know what I'm saying? So like we pull back all the layers. We have a lot of fun. But if you guys just continue to follow us, like it might take you a year, it might take you 2 years, but if you even follow us for free, you'll be able to like really grow a portfolio. So I appreciate it. And nothing's more fun than me watching these people who got burned by a $60,000 mentorship program. And in 1 week, we were able to get them a deal like that. The emotional income from that is insane,
Man, I appreciate it, man. And you just gave me my first bit of FOMO through the entire quarantine. But I'm not a part of that, but it's all good.
You're the man, brother. I'll see you in the Facebook group. Thank you so much.
Peace.
Jewel Wigglesworth.
Hi. Oh.
Hey, tell me that's your real name.
Say it again.
Tell me Wigglesworth is your real name.
Yes, his Jewel
That's
Wigglesworth.
a last name.
Amazing last name. It's so awesome. So Jewel, I can't remember the question you asked, but let's ask it again.
I asked, how would you deal with real estate agents?
Oh, yes. Did you say real estate Asians or real estate agents?
Agents.
Okay, got it. So here's the way we solve it. Okay, this is like the most common, I would say, in probably the last 30 days. And Cody, if like you were gonna guess where this question comes from, give me a guess why this question continues to pop up. Because I think I know. I want to hear your gut feel of why do people continually run into real estate agents on deals?
Well, real estate agents are usually the ones that are blocking you from putting a deal together. I mean, that's one of the biggest things if you're actually reaching out to, people that have their properties listed. Agents are kind of all around town, and everyone has a brother, a cousin, uncle, or something that's a real estate agent, or someone they went to school with that's a real estate agent.
I can't hear him.
You can't hear Cody?
No.
Oh, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Jewel, can you hear me fine?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay,
I
well,
can't hear Cody.
So I asked Cody a question. Basically, what I'm asking Cody is, hey, why do people keep asking this question? I'm going to take a guess why this keeps popping up. My guess is that people are trying to get into this business for free by not buying any leads. And so what they're doing is they're going on Zillow, and they're going on PropStream, and they're going on the MLS, and they're getting people, they're running into all these listed properties, okay? Because that's a great way to be free. That's a free way to go after leads. Is that what you're running into, Jewel?
Yes, and also there's this house by my father's house, and it's had the real estate agents stakes in the ground for over a year now.
Oh,
And I'm like, how can I get this property, and either work with the agent or, I don't even know if the agent is still working with the people. I just know that the stakes are still in the ground.
okay, so here's my answer to that question. Here's the actual answer to the real estate agent question. The answer is, do not bother a real estate agent on a listing until month 3, right? So like,
Okay.
Cody, go through the psychology of a real estate agent in the first month in anybody giving them an offer $300 below list.
Yeah, I mean, that's how we are when we sell our properties. We're like, it's been on the market for a week. It's been on the market for 2 weeks. It's been a month. Like we're not worried about it. But real estate agents have a timetable. Most contracts that agents sign with clients, obviously it can change, but it's usually about 6 months. So I know when I was working as an agent, or if any agents that
I
were
can't
working.
hear him at all.
Okay, so Jewel, I think I don't know what's going on with your speakers, but on your phone or whatever you've got going, I think you have like a left and a right speaker, and Cody's on one of the speakers that's not working or something, because everybody else in the comments can hear him. So here's the answer. When a real estate agent lists a property, they are in what I call delirium in the first 30 to 60 days, okay? They believe that they're an amazing, untouchable real estate agent, and maybe they are, but what's going to happen is the real estate agent is going to reject any offer you make, anything. They're not even going to want to present a creative finance structure to a seller. Do you know why? Because a creative finance buyer is not dumb. We are going to come in and negotiate that real estate agent's commission. So I am currently in my own house, Jewel. This house I bought subject to. I bought subject to and had a real estate agent that I paid $2,500 to. At what point? So the real estate agent, if they were able to sell the property, they would have sold the property and made $12,000 in commission. So why did I only pay them $2,500? I paid them $2,500 because they were at the 5.5 month mark on their listing, and they only had 2 more weeks left until their listing was expired. Therefore, the real estate agent would have made nothing. So what you want to do is target real estate agents that have only been on the market past the 3 month mark. Do not waste your time and do not waste their time. You want to be able to go to that real estate agent and say, hi, I'm a real estate investor. I buy both with cash and I also buy creatively. If you don't know what that means to buy creatively, I'd love to get on a longer phone call with you. But once your seller might not have enough options, or maybe they don't have enough equity, I'm a really good outlet for you, and I can still make sure you get at least part of your commission. Now, if the real estate agent hears that in the first week of a listing, do you think they're going to want to listen to you?
No.
But if you call them on this one specifically, Jael, you brought up they've had the stakes in the yard for over a year. Don't you think they'd probably be ecstatic for you to call them?
Yes.
Okay. So if you were in my mentorship program, I would actually call that seller for you, or I'd call that agent for you and show you physically how to do it and walk you through the process. I kind of showed you guys last Wednesday how I talk to people, but let me walk you through how I would talk to that agent and say, hey, I see the property, has been listed for over a year. Is there something the seller's looking for that they're having a hard time getting? Maybe, are they trying to sell it as is? And just dig in a little bit and build a little rapport. By the way, you don't build rapport by talking about cats, dogs, their favorite pizza, their favorite color. You build rapport by building credibility. And you build credibility by asking the proper questions and showing them that you know what you're doing, right? So, Jael, I would call that agent and say, hey, Mrs. Agent, Mr. Agent, I see this property. I'm really interested in it, but I see it's listed for over a year. Do you mind giving me kind of the backstory and the journey that you guys have been on over the last 12 months? And Jael, you can go back and listen to this and take notes on what I'm saying. And the agent's going to go, yeah, my seller this, my seller that, and they really want this, this, and this. And you go, okay, well, have you guys been approached by any other investors on maybe taking it over with a seller carryback or some sort of creative finance types of terms? And then shut up and let that agent talk to you. And then now you're going to get the temperature of that agent. You're either going to get an agent at 1 year mark that says, oh my gosh, that sounds great. Or you're going to get an agent goes, I have no idea what you're talking about. Okay. Most real estate agents, not to be offensive, but most real estate agents don't know what creative financing is. Most real estate agents couldn't tell you what a seller carryback is. They couldn't tell you what a subject to or seller finance is at all. So you want to gauge that conversation and then follow up in the Facebook group, and I'll tell you the next steps.
What is a seller carryback?
Seller carryback is seller finance. It's just another term for it.
Okay.
So seller finance and seller carryback are very self-explanatory. It basically means the seller is carrying back a debt, or they're creating a debt and they're leaving it in place for you. They're carrying it back for you, right? Okay. So now let's jump on this real quick, because Sarah is a broker. She's awesome. In a low inventory market like Phoenix, listings that are not under contract with 30, 45 days, the property is likely overpriced. Almost always. She is absolutely right. Or maybe there's something wrong with the property, right? So we had a property back in, what was the one, Walnut? We had a property on Walnut that was I think that we had it set properly on a lease option term, but we couldn't get anybody to commit to it. And it ultimately needed just a fresh coat of paint. So we had to go back in, throw a coat of paint on it, and boom, it went like day one. So it could be something weird going on. But here's the thing is if I'm an agent and I have a belligerent seller that wants too high of a price, or a seller that doesn't have, so it doesn't really have to do with equity in that situation. If the seller just wants a specific price in their mind, I want this price, and I can't get them that for them as a seller or as a seller's agent or a listing agent, I would go to a creative finance buyer and say, hey, my seller wants this specific number. I don't think I'm going to be able to get it to them unless you give me an offer as a creative finance buyer. Now, the problem is we have to educate real estate agents even what that is, right? So a lot of what I teach my mentorship students is how to reach out in a big broadcast to real estate agents to start educating and creating Zoom calls with high-level agents to educate them on creative financing. So anytime they get a no equity deal or a seller that has a lot of pain but can't sell their property, the agent now brings it to the real estate investor, not the other way around. So that's what happened here. The real estate agent actually called me on this property and said, I have 2 weeks to get an offer for the seller that doesn't require him to cut a check out of his pocket. Are you willing to come in on a creative finance option But you know how that agent even knew I existed? Is because I outreached and developed a relationship to them several months before they even got that listing in the first place. So unfortunately, a lot of this business is planting seeds with real estate agents and letting them know what you do. So what I did is I told the agent, I said, look, if you're willing to forego the majority of your commission, I'll still pay you a referral fee, but I don't want to come out of pocket $12,000 for your commission on a property you couldn't sell otherwise. So for me, Cody and I generated close to 500 warm leads last month. Do you think I really want to waste my time on agents who are not highly motivated? I don't have time for that.
No.
So my suggestion to everybody that keeps asking questions about how do I structure with an agent is I would wait until the agent has no other option and then give them a referral fee of $2,500 or less. In fact, I've done deals where we gave it was a lower priced home. It was a $75,000 acquisition. So $2,500 would have been way more than they would have earned even if they sold it on the market. So you have to adjust for that. We ended up giving that agent $500 at a referral fee because they couldn't sell it without us. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So
the reason why.
I'll say one last thing and I'll let you talk, okay?
Okay.
Your deal that it's been listed for a year is very unique and you should absolutely go after that person. They have a tremendous amount of pain.
Okay.
Love Francis, she says, what happens after the listing is expired? Do you need to pay the agent $2,500? Love Francis, I don't know what the deal is with all these girls that have these amazing names, but that is a cool name. So the answer is no, the listing's expired. The agent's gone off. She or he wasn't able to successfully sell that property. So you can then reach out to that seller directly. In fact, one of our marketing campaigns that we talk about a lot and the way we script with the students I teach is reaching out to expired listings. Why? Because that seller has already gone through a tremendous amount of pain by not selling their property on, especially the last couple of years, it's been a very hot market. So no, you do not have to pay that agent. Jewel Wigglesworth, what else do you got? I appreciate you coming on here.
Oh, well, I've been waiting to get on when you were doing the marathon, I wanted to get on, but, I was still in my night clothes. So I was like, oh no, never mind. But, the reason why I brought that up also is because I watched you with LaShawn on the marathon, and I'm in the same predicament. So that really helped me. But I just wanted to find out how to work around or work with real estate agents.
The main reason people ask the question about real estate agents is because it's free, right? They can go to Zillow and start calling on listings. And so it's people who have a limited budget are saying, well, the only people I know to talk to that have houses with motivated sellers, obviously a house that's listed is a motivated seller. They've listed the property, right? It doesn't mean they're a distressed property owner, it just means they're ready to sell. So if I'm brand new to this game, the easiest way to get a lead is to go to Zillow and say, let me just call agents. But guys, I'm telling you, once you understand how to do lead generation, in fact, I haven't had this conversation with Cody yet, but I want to tell Cody for May to cut our lead flow down 20%. I feel like we had too many leads in April. So we have the exact opposite problem as most people because we figured out lead generation to, by the way, like much credit to Cody. I shouldn't say we, I should say the backbone of this operation, which is Cody, figured out lead generation at a high level. I would honestly, for the most part, I won't waste my time with agents unless it's in the third, fourth, or fifth month of a listing. And even then, it's not until like a week or two before they're going to lose the listing that they're even open to a creative finance offer and taking a reduction on their commission, right?
Okay.
So anybody that's a real estate agent, I feel bad saying this, and I do love and appreciate you, but real estate agents care more about their 3% commission than they care about your name. They do not care who you are, what you're about. They care about how. The first question a real estate agent is always going to ask you before. In fact, you go to real estate networking meeting, this is what it looks like. You say, "Hi, Mr. or Mrs. Real Estate Agent. My name is Pace." They go, "Hi, I am so-and-so real estate agent. How am I going to get my 3% commission by working with you?" Like, that's kind of a joke and kind of an exaggeration, but that's really how I feel every time I talk to a real estate agent. Every time I talk about creative financing, the first question they ask is not, "Wow, this is an amazing opportunity for my seller." The first question they care about and they talk about is their commission. So if you're going to them at month 3, month 4, month 5, only thing they care about is their commission. I hate to say this because a lot of agents in here are different. Most of the agents following us and in this real estate investing world are completely different than this. So it's not fair for me to say this, but it is absolutely true for a lot of real estate agents in this business. They really don't care about their client. They care about their 3% commission.
Okay.
So that's what you're fighting with. In fact, I've seen a lot of agents not even, Cody, remember the guy that was going to prison?
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you think that agent even presented our offer to his seller?
Probably not.
No. So the thing is, they're legally responsible or required to go and submit every single offer. But if it's an offer that doesn't pay them their full 3% commission, a lot of times agents will just skirt that under the rug. It's illegal, but they'll do it. So in my world, I'm like, why would you beat your head against the wall going after those types of leads? Why not go after leads that are highly motivated, way, way more than an agent would be, right?
Where do you find, what's that website again?
Which one?
Is it Dead Leads? What is it?
Jael, what market are you in right now?
I'm in Fredericksburg, Virginia.
Okay, sweet. I don't know where that is technically. Where's the closest big town?
Richmond.
Okay, so Richmond. So I know a lot of wholesalers in Richmond. So what I would do if I were you in your exact shoes is I would call those wholesalers myself. I would go on Instagram. I would maybe DM me and I'll give you a couple of guys I know. And I would reach out to those guys and say, "Can I call on your dead leads?"
Okay.
Now you're not spending any money and you can call those people and talk to them about creative financing. That's the advantage of learning creative financing, is that now you can go out to other real estate investors who are turning these leads away and tell them, "Hey, if you have any like low equity or highly motivated sellers that just want too much money, I'm the girl for the job." Now you have people who have already been cold called. They've already been vetted. They've already shown interest in selling the property. It's just that they were missing one thing, and that's a set of terms that you, Jael, have learned in not only watching our 16-hour live, but Sunday service.
Right. Okay.
What more do you need? I mean, go start there. If you have no money, if you're starting out fresh, that's what you got to be doing.
Okay.
And then the next step is keep hanging out in the Facebook group. You're going to keep learning some dope shit.
Oh, you know I will.
Good. I appreciate you. I love your last name. And whenever you have questions, you just jump on that Facebook group. We'll do our best to answer them for you, okay?
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Jael. Brandon.
Hey, what's up, Pace? What's up, Cody? Appreciate you guys.
Brandon, can you hear Cody?
Yeah, yep.
It wasn't my computer.
It was not your computer. So Brandon says, "Hey, Pace and Cody, for subject to and seller finance with an underlying mortgage." Well, seller finance does not have an underlying mortgage, just FYI. Okay. Seller finance means the house is paid off free and clear. Do you set up escrow to ensure the mortgage is being paid every month? So that's not escrow, that's called servicing. And so servicing, yes, we have a servicing company that pays the payments for us.
Okay.
So also, how are annual increases in taxes and insurance absorbed? So this is one of our documents we have the seller sign, is that the seller signs over their escrow account for us, which includes the impound account, which is the insurance and the taxes. So we control that we own that, right? Okay. So let's say that there's an existing mortgage in place, right? What happens is so Brandon, check this out. I buy your property from you subject to, okay? I'm now the new owner and the debt is in your name, right? Are you following me on that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I then go to Cody. I go to Cody and I have Cody rent the property from me and I'm cash flowing $300 a month.
Okay.
Where does Cody make his payment?
To you.
No.
Oh,
Cody makes his payment to a servicing company.
gotcha.
The servicing company receives his check. They pay me my $300 cash flow. They pay your mortgage. They pay any HOA, property taxes, and insurance on my behalf, and it costs me anywhere between $17 to $35 a month to have somebody else do that for me.
Okay.
Okay. The reason I do that is, number one, I want to make sure that all my subject to deals are serviced, and that servicing company is handling. Think about that, for $17 to $35 a month. Don't you think that's absolutely worth somebody else handling all that bull crap?
Oh, heck yeah. Especially then you don't have to worry about it not getting paid.
Right. And then we get a notification. Guess what? Guess who enforces a late fee so that I don't have to?
This servicing agency.
Right. The servicing agency enforces all the late payments and the late fees and all that kind of stuff. We are hands off on all that stuff.
Cool.
So then the seller, if the seller has a question for some reason, let's say Brandon, you're like, I have a question about what my mortgage is like. You can call the servicing company and make sure that that mortgage is still being paid if you feel the need to do that. However, out of the hundreds of deals we've done, most sellers just move on. They never even think about their mortgage ever again.
Okay.
Does that answer your question?
Yeah, definitely. Really appreciate you guys.
That's a hella good question. I appreciate you, bro.
All right, man. Guys, have a good night. Thanks.
Later, Homer. So, boom. Do you just Google servicing company near me? No. We have a servicing company that we've gone through. Every time we went to a different title company to open our files, this title company is financially incentivized to tell us their servicing company and that they're the best and they're the cheapest and blah, 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 blah. We now are with a nationwide servicing company. We give all that information to my mentorship students, like how it looks, what it's set up like. But we work with a nationwide servicing company that can manage all of our subject to deals nationwide. So there are different servicing companies. Yes, guys, there are like thousands of servicing companies. There's one that we actually like. Dan, you want to get on, or sorry, not Dan. You want to get on the deal? I will bring you on the deal. You are actually one of my mentorship students, bro. Let's get you.
He had a good question too. He was saying, Cody and Pace, how much do you think we should spend on marketing per month to do 2 deals per month in today's market?
Let's get him on here. He's one of our mentorship students, so I'd love to get him on here. He's awesome. Nathaniel Giddens, how do you pay team personnel outside of yourself for closing on properties? What LLC does that come from? So that comes from the LLC. So Cody and I have a company here.
That's the one.
Okay, that company actually started out as a wholesale business. Okay, so that is our wholesale business right there. That's where we pay our people those questions. Danny.
Yo.
He's out. Bye. So does servicing company charge $17 per property? Absolutely. They charge $17 per property plus like an extra $7 per month per lien that they have to take care of. Yo, what up, bro?
Oh, I'm on. Hey, how are you?
Good. Hey, tell us how to pronounce your name because everybody reading wants to know.
Okay, give me 1 second. Alexa, dining on. Sorry, I was just... All right, yeah, so my name is Yui Nguyen.
Yui Nguyen.
Yeah, the D is silent.
Yui.
Yui, you had a great question. Let's answer it one more time, okay?
Awesome. Thank you, guys.
You got to ask it though, bro.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so to starting out, how much do you spend in for marketing in today's market if you want to get 2 deals per month?
What market are you in?
Let Cody answer that question, by the way.
What market?
I'm in Houston, Texas.
Okay, so another like bigger market. So to be getting 2 deals a month consistently, you gotta take it to, I don't know if you track your numbers at all, but you want to.
Yui, by the way, I'm gonna cut Cody off here real quick. for all the mentorship students, which you are a mentorship student, I know our mentorship, when you like signed up and you paid for all that, you didn't really recognize that this was going to happen. But Cody and I are going to help you set up a lot of your processes and a lot of your business. And we're going to ask you questions specifically about what you're currently doing. So I do appreciate the question, because here's what you're doing right now. You are super active, even though, how was that call on Saturday, by the way?
Oh, the call Saturday?
Yeah.
Dude, that was dope. I learned a lot. And I told you, and this is very honest, I paid for a coach. I paid for like 13 grand in direct mail marketing. I didn't get the return I wanted. The coach was never there. He was not available when I needed him to. And then just one day with you, I learned a lot, so much more. So thank you so much.
I appreciate that. So Cody and I are going to do a lot for you guys. Okay. We're going to be doing, individual conversations with you guys about setting up your business and getting deep dive and show you kind of behind the scenes and to our CRMs and all that kind of stuff as one of our mentorship students. But I just want to let you know that Cody's answer he's going to give you right now is mostly going to benefit everybody else that's watching. But beyond this, over the next several weeks, we will be helping you do a lot of this stuff physically.
Okay.
Okay.
I want to see if I can get like a notepad up or something
For screen share.
Yeah, because I almost want to like write it out here.
So a lot of guys, just so you guys know, there's very few people that got into the mentorship thing. We've been trying to absolutely bring in like people that are absolutely ready and a good fit. So I know that Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, we have like 50 calls with people to figure out if you're a good fit for the program. So anybody that's still waiting, we have like 1,400 people in line for the phone calls. We are absolutely trying to help you guys out. I promise you, we are trying to help you guys out. We will not abandon you. We have 5 people helping out. Hey, Yui, who was the guy who got you into the program?
Teresa.
Okay, got it. So Teresa actually spoke to you. Teresa is one of our 5 people. So Patrick, you will get a call from somebody on our team either this week or the next coming week. I promise you, we're just overwhelmed with how many people are trying to jump into that. So thank you for your patience. I do appreciate it.
Can I share my screen, Pace?
Yeah.
All right, let me. All right. Can you see my screen?
Not yet. Danny, what up, dog? I think I kicked you out.
Yeah, I don't know what was
Somebody on our team.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. You got to turn your.
I was like, earlier you were saying my name and I was getting up and I was like, wait, what the fuck am I on right now?
Yeah, because you had to go pee. You had to go take a pee and you left.
Yeah, I had to go take a quick piss. What's going on?
So Cody's pulling up his screen to share with Yui right now. So I wanted to jump you on here for a minute or two while we were getting ready to answer you.
I know. It's all good. Okay. We're closing a SubTo tomorrow with Cherie, but we have 2 issues.
Okay. We stopped we stopped using Cherie.
Why'd you stop using Cherie?
I don't want to say it out loud on this. I've got 500 people. What do you got? What are your issues?
Okay. Home warranty. We need to transfer over home warranty, but she's saying that we what's it called? We need to do that outside of escrow, so it's kind of
a home warranty. So your home warranty should be added to the settlement statement. Who's buying the home warranty and what's the situation with the home warranty?
We're buying the home warranty. Okay. We're buying the home warranty.
So if you're buying the home warranty, that can be added to the settlement statement. You should be able to contact the home warranty company, get them, and you should be able to pay that at closing as well. They just added it as a line item. There's no reason they shouldn't be able to add a home warranty. That's really standard.
Can you see why we're using her? What's your other problem, Danny?
Other problem is insurance.
Okay. What's your question?
We're going as additional insured, or?
So what I teach my students is keep the existing insurance in place for the time being, but you want to make sure you are added to the additional insured before you close escrow. Okay. And then what happens is after escrow is a whole nother series of stuff where you're going to replace that insurance policy with a new insurance policy.
Right. Okay. Gotcha. Huh. Interesting.
Are you here in Arizona?
Yeah, I went over to your property, Des Moines, the other day actually too.
You did? How'd that go?
Yeah. I've met you like 3 times before in person.
Really?
Yeah, I was at when you guys had all the tacos. I was over there.
You had the
And at the RIA, we've spoke before too.
Awesome. Okay.
But yeah, no, you guys are awesome. You guys teach a lot of good shit. And I appreciate
You
it.
have my cell phone number?
I don't know.
If you're in Phoenix, pop me a call tomorrow and I'll walk you through a couple of things. I feel bad because I was directing a lot of traffic over to Cherie to like give her business, and now I
know. What time do you have a specific? I'll put you on my calendar.
Just DM me on Instagram, and I'm like, my day tomorrow is pretty slammed. I'll fit you in where I can. We'll help you.
Okay. Yeah, if you got 10 minutes, just squeeze me in. That'd be perfect. I appreciate it.
Sorry about the Cherie thing. I would suggest not using that.
But she's great though. That's the thing. She knows her shit to a T. So it's like
her confidence tells you she knows her stuff to a T. That's the problem.
Yeah, I know, right? Okay.
So I like her as a person, but we were challenged on a handful of properties, and we moved back to where we were before we were using her.
Well, yeah.
DM me on Instagram. We'll touch base.
I will. Let's talk more about it tomorrow.
Thank you, bro. Yui.
Yes, sir.
All right, Cody. Can you share your screen?
Yeah, I was working on it. I'm new to this Mac. Let's see. Oh, wow. I can't share my screen. I was trying to share it and it says you have to exit out of your browser. I don't know, some privacy setting on the Mac. So still learning. I don't know why, but it's not a big deal. We'll do that another time as far as actually writing it out. So basically, you had to look at your business as there's a few different components. There's basically what I look at the wholesale business in general, or just your investing business, is there's 4 parts. You have your lead generation is number 1. And this is in order of the most important, in my opinion, to get down, is lead generation is number 1, because without leads, there's nothing to even sell to, as far as working on your sales skills. So lead generation, number 1. Number 2 is acquisition. Number 3 is disposition. And then number 4 is your admin and your systems. And while admin and systems are important at the beginning, you just got to get your business going and just be pushing through and, getting some leads going. So I want to ask you, as far as, I don't know where you're at in your business right now, but, are you generating leads on a consistent basis, or what does that look like right now?
I just doing text message and sometimes cold calling, but because I have a 9-to-5, so I don't have a lot of time to do that stuff.
Okay. So you're in a situation where you have money to invest in getting marketing going, but you don't have the time to manually create those leads, right?
Right.
So I guess for, based on what you've been doing, what is, and, some of these questions are a little bit more personal on the call, but, it's to help you as much as I can. What are you generating from that? Are you doing a deal every month, or what, are you doing one every couple months, or where are you at?
No, so I started doing texting for like 3 months, and I got one deal. I make about $4K out of it from an absentee owner out of California. And he rented his home in Houston, and the tenant trashed his home. But he was able to come at a reasonable price. So he wants to sell his property for 110, and we got it down to like 107. And my friend investor picked it up, and he just gave me a check for 4K.
Okay, gotcha.
So that was lucky.
Hey, it's not lucky. You were putting out the work to be able to get the deal done. So that's the start. So what I would look at is, if you want to be doing a couple deals every month, is you got to be looking at like, how many text messages did that take you? Do you have an idea, ballpark, of how many texts you had to send to get however many leads you got to get that one deal?
Yeah, it's like 500 texts.
500, that's it? That's not bad. That's actually good, especially when you're the one doing that yourself. So what you got to look at, we've seen our numbers go up a bit. So per deal with text messaging with our team, we're now up to about 45 leads per deal on text. And it's for cold call, it's about 60 leads per deal. for our cold callers. So everything can come down to the math, Yui. So you got to just keep track of your numbers as you're working in the business, working on your leads. So then you can create certainty. It's really hard to be certain when you don't know what the heck is going on. So if you can just go off of, obviously 500 texts isn't that many texts, but if you just go off of our metrics, and our metrics are off of our team, when myself and Pace were just doing it all ourselves, we were able to get more contracts. But again, when you're the owner of the business, like you're leading out to get every single deal and find a way to make every single lead convert, right? So that's what'll change when you start building a team a little bit. But what you're looking at is, say on average, if you're texting, and if it takes you, we'll just go off our number. So if it takes you 45 leads, this is why I wanted to be able to write this out. But if it takes you 45 leads to get one contract, and what's the average contract size in Houston? Do you know that, Pace? I'm assuming it's probably somewhere between, somewhere similar to Arizona, like 10 to 15,000.
Yeah, it's talking to Elizabeth and a bunch of people out there. It's between $10,000 and $17,000, depending on your negotiating skills and what areas you're focusing on. But I would say the average is like 13 grand.
So let's call it 13,000, right? So if the goal is to get to 2 contracts consistently a month, then you're going to be at $13,000 a contract on average, right? And your sales skills, as they get better, you're going to get better deals. So $13,000 a contract, that's going to put you at $26,000 for the month for 2 deals. So now let's look at this backwards, right? So for your text messages that you're sending out, if it takes 45 text leads to turn into 1 deal, which for you, it might be less because you're the one doing it, right? And you're the one following up, or it might be more, right? So you have to find out for you what that number comes up at. So 45 leads to 1 contract. How many text messages do you have to send to get that amount of leads? And you may start noticing your numbers become different. So for 45 leads to get 1 contract, I would say, it's really going to depend on how many texts how many leads are you getting per text, would you say? If you had to ballpark it, I know you don't necessarily be tracking your numbers to a T before now, but looking forward, if you had to guess, like how many texts are you sending to then get actual leads back? How many leads back?
If I send like 100 texts, maybe I get like 3.
Like
3 that say yes. Yeah.
Good. Just people that want to sell.
Yeah.
Okay. So if you look at that, if you look at 100, so let's just do the math. So if every 100 leads you're getting or 100 texts you're getting 3 leads, what is that? 45 divided by 3. What is that? 1,500 text sent, basically 1,500 to 2,000, basically. I think your number is going to end up being more than that because you got to start looking a little bit more. Like, what are you considering a lead when you're texting?
When they say when they're not cursing at me.
Okay, so I would look at when you're texting with those people, I would consider them a lead when they're acknowledging that they do want to sell and that they're interested in selling. They have some sort of reason that they're selling. I would be identifying that in your text that you're having with them, because most times we've found when somebody just say if they're like, yeah, I'd sell, you're like, oh, lead. You got to look at it as, okay, well, have you been thinking about selling, Yui, or are you just looking for an offer? Well, yeah, I'm just looking for an offer. If it was the right offer, maybe I'd take it. That's not really a lead. A lead is more like, yeah, we've been thinking about selling actually for a little while now. We have too big of a house. We're having some health issues, blah, 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 whatever the reason is, right? So you gotta narrow it down a little bit more. But let's just say, and then this is where you're going to have to do the homework of readjusting. So let's say with your numbers where you're at right now, it should take you 1,500 texts sent out to be able to get 1 contract, which I think it's going to be higher, but just going off your numbers, you're going to need to readjust. So start tracking this. So over the next 1,500 texts that you send out, Yui, you should be able to get 45 leads. And if you don't get 45 leads, then you need to readjust and say, okay, I need to send out 2,000 text messages. I need to send out 2,500. I need to send out 3,000 to get that many leads. So then you can start working it backwards. So the goal is to get a contract, but you need to work it backwards from contract, leads, amount of reps that are going out and texting, and working that backwards. So that's what I would say to do is over this next month is maybe set a target. I mean, how many texts can you send a week if if you're able to send more? Like if you committed the rest of May and you were able to send as many as you possibly can each day when you get home from work, say Monday through Friday. I mean, how many texts would you be comfortable sending?
Back then I had a guy in Vietnam. He just manually sent a text for me and I pay him. But now I just subscribe to launch control. It's similar to batch skip tracing. So right now it's pretty easy to send text. I just click the mouse and it'll send, and I can send about 3,000 contacts per month. For
more. I would send more.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I would say I would give it like this next week, and I want to actually hear from you on this too, and check in. Pace can let me know how you're doing too on this. Is over the next week when you're coming home from work and you have that time from 5 to 9, I would challenge yourself to send like 350 to 500 texts each day when you get home from like 5:30 to 6:30. Be sending out those texts and having those conversations and setting yourself up with phone calls to be able to get on with maybe potential sellers that you could have conversations with. That's going to be your biggest thing is you got to do more volume. Like we just switched over to Batch's platform for our texting. But before that we were using Roar, and we were sending like 10,000 text messages a day. So it's like you gotta ramp up the volume. But I'll read you these numbers. So you can have an idea of literally one of the first weeks that we switched over to Batch. I saved this. Let's see.
So did you guys hear that? So John Bloom just asked, Cody, how many SMS do you send per day? So we used to be on Roar, and Roar is not TCPA compliant either. That's a big thing you guys need to look at, is being TCPA compliant. Is instead of text blasting where you send 10,000 text messages all at one time, you need to be with a program that allows you to manually text. Otherwise, you're going to get dinged legally at some point in the future. So we were at 10,000 text messages a day on Roar. Where are we at now with Batch?
Now, let's see. So we went down to about 4,000 a day because of the amount of leads that we were able to get with sending out less, because more were being delivered. So that was the challenge, John, and Yui, one of the systems that we were using, the deliverability wasn't the greatest. So like here's the numbers on the first week that we had switched over to Batch, because you're having to click manually. It's just helping the deliverability. So basically, we have 3 virtual assistants that are texting. There's 2 of them at 5 hours a day, and there's 1 of them that works 8 hours a day on texting. So those are 3 VAs that text. That's their only job, is texting for us.
So there we go. So John Harkar says, how many people handling your 4,000 texts per day? Cody just answered it.
3. Yep. So 2 of them are working 5 hours a day on that, and then 1 of them is 8 hours a day. And
Cody, answer this question real quick for the crowd.
Well, Jonathan, we bought all of Maricopa County's data and skip traced it in February. So there was like 1.2 million records that we got. So we got that list, and that'll run us through through this whole year, because you have to look at when we're texting, we're going to retext that list every month for 6 months. We're just going to keep re-hitting that list. So we're hitting new lists, but we're simultaneously rotating in those older lists on follow-ups as well. So you can go, texting does require more data. It's going to be more expensive, but you can recycle your list. After the first few months, like Pace, remember last year when I was like, we have to skip trace more. It's the first few months that you're texting at a high level, you have to buy a lot of data and it's expensive. But once you've accumulated a good amount of it, then you can kind of recycle through that. But Yui, I'm hoping that helps you, because you have to really understand your numbers. That would be the thing. Like put on, on an Excel sheet on your computer or on a whiteboard or however you want to do that, and look at, for your texting efforts this next 4 weeks, how many texts you send, how many leads you get, how many contracts you get. If you just get one, then you know that you're at the amount of texts to send out to only get you one contract, right? So you're going to have to up the amount of text that you're sending. So it's hard to, give an exact number on it, because you have to start tracking your numbers for your business. And the thing on cold calling, it would be the same thing. But where you're working from 5 to 9, or from 9 to 5, I would suggest, instead of you being the one cold calling, I would say a better use of time would be, if you have money to spend on it, hire some cold callers to be generating leads while you're at work. And then when you get home from work, then you can call those leads and try to work on your acquisition portion of your business and try to convert those leads into deals while you're texting. So you can be following up with your leads that came in from your cold callers and nurturing follow-ups while you're texting on your computer, trying to create new opportunities. So to cram as much effort and focus into that few hours that you have after work every day, and have some support while you're doing your job. You have some other people that are helping cold call on your data to create some leads for you. That's what I would say to do, and track everything this next month. Keep an eye on what's going on in your business so you can create certainty.
So do you cold call and text the same list? Or
yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Mm-hmm. So the biggest thing on your list, don't overthink them. A lot of people will ask, well, I already texted that list once, can I retext it again? Yes, retext it again. Because people that went on the do not call list, you move them off of your texting list. They're not going to be retexted. It's going to be a follow-up text to people that never responded, right? And then you're going to be cold calling. Think of the demographic. People that are answering their phones on a cold call are usually going to be over the age of 50 or 60. It's the older people, and those people aren't usually texting you back either. So you're reaching different demographics. Like if you call me, I'm not going to answer the phone. I only answer the phone for my team, and if I have you saved in my phone. I mean, that's about it. But if you text me, I have a lot higher likelihood of texting you back. So you got to just look at the demographic. You're hitting different people where you're cold calling versus texting.
Awesome. Thank you.
Hey, Yui, you're the man.
Yes, sir. Hey, I got another question, Pace. So I am working with a seller that he's in a pre-foreclosure situation, and I went to his appointment. I walked the house. I gave him the offer, and he was telling me that he wants to shop around. He wants to see what other investors are looking to pay him. So how do you overcome that objection?
Cody, do I ever even run into that problem?
No.
Why?
Because you scorch the earth.
So there's two things that you're doing a little bit incorrectly, Yui, and we're going to go through that in the mentorship program, but I never give offers to sellers. In fact, that house that I bought 0 down, 0% interest the other day, I never gave him a single offer. And you guys heard the recording in the mentorship. Did I bring up my price one time in that deal? I never brought up a price to him other than I just said, what are you looking for? Okay, if I did that, if I did this, if I did that. And I also said 3 or 4 times in the appointment, I'm probably not a good buyer for you, but let me help you out. So that's a big part of what we do, is that we never give them the price, because one of the things that we talk about a lot is that sellers, the only value that you have, Yui, for a seller is what? Do you know the only value you provide to the seller is? This is before you buy the house and solve other problems. But in the first appointment, what are they looking for from you? What value do they believe you have?
Solution?
No.
Price?
Price. All they want from you is price. So if you give them price and you haven't gotten to the nitty gritty and built up enough rapport and figured out all their problems, and you give them price, they now are like, oh yes, now I got Yui's, the only value I need from Yui. And that's when I haven't heard the last time, I don't remember the last time a seller told me they wanted to think about it, or a seller told me they were going to shop my price.
Well, he kind of told me that he wants 20 grand walk away. So he named his price first, and I was giving him a counter offer, and he said, okay, he wants to see what other investors are paying.
So this is what, if a seller gives you their number, this is what I do. And I put this in the private mentorship group, YouTube or Facebook group the other day, that recording from the seller. when a seller tells me what he wants, because I got the number from him very quickly, I said, if I'm willing to come up to that number, what would be our next step? What would you want to do? And then he says, well, I don't know. I guess I'd probably, if that's the case, I probably want to, shop around other investors. And if that's the case, I go, perfect. So why don't you go shop those other investors, and then we'll sit down and I'll figure out if I can give you a better price. And then that way I position myself, bro, that value right there of just understanding that. And then you position yourself as the person they follow up with, because you said, well, look, I want to be the big solution provider for you. Why don't you go shop? Sounds like you're not quite ready. Why don't you go figure out what all those other knuckleheads are going to give you, and then come back to Mr. Yui, because I'm the best, right? And I'm going to give you the best offer possible, and you like working with me, so come back to me at the end. And you never gave him a price, right? You never gave him a price. You gave him permission to go find out other people's price. I'd say that happens 20% of the closes, that they go, honestly, like, I don't have a lot of pain. I don't have a lot of issues. I really just want the highest and best. I go, perfect. Why don't you go figure out what that is? And then I'll consult with you and tell you if that's a good price or not. And if I can't beat that price, I'll tell you to go and, take those deals. But if not, I might be able to come up to their price. Why don't you go do that shopping and then come back to me, and we'll do business together. Now I've got the seller working for me.
I see. That's good.
Whereas you gave him a counter offer, and now he has everything. He knows everything about Yui. You have no surprise attack. You have no value to bring to the table. If you called him right now, he'd ignore your call because he already got everything he needed from you.
Yeah.
You gave him everything he wanted on the first date. Right? We got to play hard to get here. And these are the negotiating tactics you and I are going to work on a lot in the mentorship program, is how to physically do that. And then you're going to hear me actually do it with sellers, and you go, oh my gosh, I totally get that now. Right? You get the idea now, but we're going to get to the nitty gritty in the mentorship program.
Yeah. I have another SubTo question, but maybe I can ask you in the program.
Let's get some other people on here for the three people. Bro, I can't wait to hang out with you on Tuesday.
Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Bye.
So Pace, thoughts about setting up appointments versus negotiating over the phone. So our team tries to negotiate over the phone before I go on the appointment. So you guys see me going on appointments a lot. Typically, I'm going on appointments because they're either creative finance deals or the team is having a hard time closing them. So we are training our people to virtually wholesale, even in our own market. That's what we ultimately want, to be more efficient. But when I go on appointments, it's because it requires a black belt ninja, essentially. Gold for the price of grass. There you go. Let's see here a second. Hopefully that makes sense to you guys. I don't know why people give offers, by the way. So Blake Leah, John Martinez, just FYI, I like John Martinez a lot. John Martinez learned the same sales training that I learned, which is called Sandler. And all John Martinez has done is taken the Sandler training and then repackaged it as his own, which he should have. I like what he's done. But if you guys really want to learn negotiating tactics, you want to learn the Sandler method, okay? When texting and get 5 skip trace numbers, do you text all 5 or pick one? Cody, you know the answer to that?
Text all 5.
Okay. Let's see here. There's a couple good questions here. I want to jump in getting some. Can you talk about seller subject to objections and rebuttals? Yeah, sure. Hold on. Let me get Rob on here real quick. Yo, Rob.
Yo, what up?
Nice haircut, dog.
Oh.
See, that's the kind of haircut you need in quarantine, so you can just buzz it. You know what I'm saying?
Efficiency, man. It's economic.
I had my wife dial me in on the side. She did a pretty good job, but I'm like, I need a barber, bro.
Nice, man.
So tell me what's cracking, Rob.
I am new to the wholesaling business. My background's actually finance, but I found my way to meditation and co-founding a school on expanded consciousness and guiding people to their pathway of liberation. So definitely not finance, but what I feel like is my life calling. And with the whole COVID stuff, it completely decimated our entire business. We provide these live experiences called sound bath meditations, where we take these ancient Tibetan singing bowls, some of which are 300 to 400 years old. I'm clicking for people.
Wow. That's cool.
So it's predicated on being there live in person. And after all that went to shit, I was like, what do I do? How do I create a plan B? And I actually started helping a buddy of mine with his real estate and construction business in DC. Anyway, so that got me thinking, and I was like, I can do this. My family had been in real estate for a while, so I signed up for TTP. I'm in Brent's program. I signed up with. What's up?
I said that's a good program, and I like Brent a lot. That's a great program.
Yeah. He's awesome. And then I signed up for a mentorship program with a 30-year experienced investor here in DC. And then I saw your pre-foreclosure video with Brent earlier today, and I was like, all right, the whole approach, the strategy of being the confidant and the advisor rather than trying to provide, I mean, people have different strategies, but I just really resonated with what you're up to.
I think people have different strategies because they haven't seen the light, right? It's kind of like people, take a hot shower because they don't really know what meditation's about, or they go take a steam because they're trying to relax when meditation would probably be a much more high level version of that, right? So I think everybody really would benefit from being an advisor rather than a salesperson.
Exactly.
And first and foremost, I think that in terms of being in tune with yourself as a human being, we want to solve problems for other human beings. The problem is there's so many people that don't take the time to learn how to negotiate, listen, and truly solve the problem. Therefore, they're not the ones that catch the fish, right? Yep. And so it's unfortunate, but I'd say 90% of sales guys or 90% of business owners I run into are sales guys. And there's 10% of us that are solution providers. For the basic conversation, I would describe myself as a good sales guy. But at the end of the day, I just say I'm a great salesperson because I provide a high level of solution provider. Nobody can provide more solutions than me, yeah. Right? So I had a guy the other day, he's like, so wholesale is like a tool to buy a house, and then subject to is like another tool. And I said, yes, but what we teach is how to control the entire tool belt and fill it with 10 different tools so that you walk onto a job site with all tools at your disposal. So I can't help but be able to have, way more options. One of the things we didn't even talk about in there, I think on that pre-foreclosure mastery, I think it was 7 or 8 options. Yeah. We didn't even talk about short sale. We didn't even talk about 3 other options, novation agreements. We didn't talk about a handful of things because I didn't want it to completely go over people's heads. But bro, it's that's the reason why I went on 4 appointments in May. That's all I went on, maybe 5. I think I went on 5 appointments in April. And I personally bought 4 of those houses. So I went on 5 appointments, bought 4 houses. Again, if you guys were paying attention 30 minutes ago, I only go on appointments that are challenging for my team to get over the phone. So these are not laydowns. These are very, very tricky deals. And I was 80% close ratio. It's because at some point you have way more solutions for the seller, and the seller, you won't believe the text messages I get from sellers. I'll leave the house and they'll say, I feel like for the first time in the 30 days I've been trying to sell my house, somebody actually listened to me and provided more options to me so that I could act. And more often than not, this, if somebody comes to you for meditation, I want to learn meditation, you don't just say, this is the only thing that works all the time for every single person. And sometimes you push them away. Maybe meditation might not be a good fit for you. Yeah. It actually draws them closer to you because of your transparency and your honesty.
Yeah.
And you sleep better at night, right? You sleep better at night knowing that you're a good human being and not a piece of crap.
Yeah, precisely. I mean, I was just developing my buyers list, and with my background in finance, I was able to kind of use the jargon of, how can we assist you in, realizing your portfolio, and maybe perhaps some of the contracts that we have, right now, maybe they can fit into what you're looking for. And just the whole vibe of how I was approaching the buyers list, I was like, that should be how I'm approaching the homeowners. Like it,
100%.
Yeah. Like, why am I feel like we're trying to force something, a square peg into a round hole. And so, there's a huge element also of not knowing what I don't know. And like the whole creative financing, it's just this obscure thing. And I feel like it goes over a lot of people's heads. So, I don't know what it is that I have to do, but I do have a call with one of your peoples.
Oh, cool. Okay.
On Wednesday at 2, and I'm going to find a way to have a spot in your mentorship program. I don't know how it's going to happen.
Bro, even if we're not a good fit for you, that's why we have this free Facebook group, is like, keep line upon line, precept upon precept, just keep building your stuff. Like, the thing is, like, there is so much to learn. That's why even Cody and I, to this day, we're students of the game, and we're having a good time doing it. And I appreciate you tuning in. I appreciate you learning and bringing value to the group as well. Like, now you've got me thinking about meditation and like all this stuff. I feel like I want to go buy one of those bowls. You know what I'm saying? So I appreciate your value.
Yeah. So funny thing, I'm trying to figure out a way to translate the live experience into a virtual experience. But like when you live stream stuff, it only converts at a certain bit rate or something. And so I'm setting up a recording studio here. So I'll send you a little something once we,
please. I look forward to it.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know much about Jamil, but Jamil on Wholesale Hotline. So like, you'll see Brent Daniels, myself, and Jamil. We run Wholesale Hotline on Monday, and Jamil's into meditation. Like, he'll meditate for an hour to 2 hours every single morning. And his entire team, myself, everybody knows, do not bother Jamil. It's been like that for years. Like, his day does not start until 10 o'clock, and that's because he's meditating for 2 hours in the morning.
Yep.
And then people ask him, like, how do you accomplish so much in your day? How do you do this? He's like, bro, it comes down to one thing: meditation.
Yeah.
It's very cool.
Yeah.
Bro, let us know how the call goes tomorrow with the team.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much with, everything you both are providing. And I mean, this kind of information is so empowering for the average person. It's how the rich keep getting richer, and you're leveling the playing field. And that is incredible. And just
somebody told me the other day, this is crazy, and a lot of people are going to disagree with me on this, but I try not to get too crazy and argumentative with people. But somebody told me the other day that it was like, the laws are set up to keep the poor people poor and the rich people rich. And I'm like, okay, great. So what are we going to do about that? Like, I have no control over that. So here's what I think keeps poor people poor and rich people getting richer is education and work ethic. That's it. Those are the only two things. So you take anything, you could be broke today and a millionaire. Like, look at Cody. Cody, when we met, how old were you? 24?
Yeah, 24.
So Cody, by educating himself and working his guts out, in less than a year became a part owner of a $10 million real estate portfolio, drives a Maserati, owns houses subject to, and is like, the house he's living in right there. Cody, did you have to qualify for that house?
No.
Did you even pull your credit?
Nope.
Did you have to get a loan for that?
Nope.
No, neither did I. So it's like, just by education and work ethic, we're gobbling up real estate and, like you said, leveling the playing field. And we're just so excited we found the promised land. We're just turning around and yelling back at everybody else on the path and saying, hurry the hell up, catch up with us. Please catch up with us.
I'm so surprised you guys only have like 2,000 something subscribers on your YouTube channel.
Yeah, I just honestly, that's
a month old, right? Like, not even that old. That's
like, it's like 90 days old, and I only post on there once a week. Unfortunately, it's like Instagram is where it's so easy. The challenge with YouTube is it requires me to actually be intentional about creating content, whereas Instagram is so easy to be able to, like, I can be in between things, and Instagram, I can just pop things in there like really quick. No editor, no thought process, just document my day, kind of Gary Vee style. And then same thing with Facebook. Like, Facebook has grown big time for us. Like, we started this Facebook group in January. we've had 15,000 requests to join this Facebook group. We've only let in 6,000 people. So and it's because of our live streams, and like we're bringing a lot of value to these things. So I wish I had more time on the YouTube thing, and I wish here's like every time I justify like hiring another digital guy to like come and follow us and document us, I look at it and I'm like, that's another house that we could buy for the same amount of money, right? That guy's salary is closing costs on another house that we could buy this month. So like we're so real estate minded and trying to buy more properties, it's hard to build that YouTube channel.
I do have one question, if I might. Pace, if you could have one dream with no possible chance of failure, which would that be?
I saw this yesterday. This is really funny, Rob, that you're asking this question, because I was going to start the live today and ask Cody a lot of questions about himself and be like, I want more people to know more about Cody, because Cody doesn't get the love and the appreciation he should get, because I'm so talkative, and my wife calls me loquacious or verbose, which is I just talk all the time. So I was going to ask Cody similar questions, because yesterday I saw a meme that the meme was like, if you knew you couldn't fail, what would you go out and do? So I appreciate your question. I actually have thought about it. If I knew I couldn't fail, this is what I would do. Exactly what I'm doing right now.
Nice.
I know that Cody, the one thing, again, education and work ethic, I know that's a cop-out answer, but if I could go back in a time machine 10 years ago, I would tell myself to do what I'm doing right now, because I feel like we've really found the path to the promised land. Our goal ultimately, so to kind of paint my, vision board, and Cody should answer this question as well. Our goal is to own 1,000 houses without using any of our own credit, without any of our own money. We want to control and own 1,000 properties, of which at that point, our net worth will be somewhere around $500 million. And I want to own 1,000 acres in Flagstaff with a ranch that I spend my summers there, that I can just check out like 4 months out of the year. And then the other 8 months, I'm down doing big projects and running all of our companies. That's my goal. And then honestly, I want to have more kids and spend time with my family. It sounds super boring, but that's my thing. What about you, Cody?
Honestly, like I like working, so it would just be like another project that I'm passionate about. I'd continue building, obviously our goal of, getting to 1,000 properties. So that's one of our really big goals that we have. But outside of that, finding ways to give back to other people that are entering into the entrepreneur space, and, helping like high school and college age kids, like find better ways to, be able to monetize and, live a life where they're not stuck to a 9-to-5. That's where I'd spend some passion time. But outside of that, like life's boring without work. Even just going on vacation for, 2-3 days is like a really max that I could spend lounging. Like otherwise I'm like, I need to be working on something. I want to work on something that I'm excited about and build. And, it's like the building process and putting it together. And then when stuff breaks, it's like figuring out how to fix that, and then like continuing to build on something and, continue to grow. So I don't think there's, I don't feel like I'm not doing anything that I feel like I'm doing everything that I've ever wanted to do. So
look what Grace Joe said. By the way, good conversation we had the other day, Grace. So Cody, when we first started talking about building a ranch in Flagstaff, what was the whole point of that ranch? It was to build a community for employees, private investors, anybody that deals with, like anybody that we are in business with has full access to any of our properties. And we were thinking about, I don't know if we really had this conversation too in depth, but it was like, why don't we get a house in California? Why don't we get a house in Flagstaff? Why don't we get some houses around that like our personnel, our people, our teams can actually utilize as vacation and have the perks of, being in our network, our circle. So the Flagstaff ranch 100% will be utilized for retreats for people that are learning from us, and private investors and employees can go up there for weeks and work remotely. That's kind of the goal.
Like mastermind sessions at the ranch.
What about you, Rob? Well, if you knew you couldn't fail, what would you do, bro?
Yeah, thank you for asking me. It's really this school that I've been a part of, co-founding with a team about a decade ago. The school, its vision is for each human being to awaken to the purpose that they've come here for, and to assist and empower them to awaken and remember what that purpose is, and to activate our potential, because there's incredible power that we have as, each unique soul and each consciousness, but we're often told we can't do it, or we're disempowered, or we feel unworthy or not good enough.
Right.
And so I think there's a lot of constructs of society that have created more division than unification, that have created more polarization than balance. And we intend to facilitate these conversations that help for more cohesion. And there's, whether it's left or whether it's right, whether it's blue or red, there is a middle ground that we can come together at. And I think people are looking for just a better way to go about things as a society. And so we just have this incredible vision of facilitating this real sense of community, sense of empowering culture that, like, I think people just agree on, but we're just like, how do we actually do that? How do we create that neutral space?
I mean, I don't care if you're left, you're right, you're gay, you're straight. I don't care any of that stuff. As long as you have an iPhone, we can be friends. Just kidding. And there's like probably 30 people in here that have Androids that hate my guts because I'm always Android jokes. But Rob, I think if you're looking at the comments, I don't know if you can see the comments from your StreamYard, but we've got some really good comments in here. Just absolutely loving this. So I appreciate you tuning in.
Thank you.
Keep watching us, and we'll get you on another live here in the future, brother.
Awesome. Yeah, keep it up, guys.
Thank you. Really appreciate you. So
there's some good questions. That was kind of
Lou. We miss you, Debbie. We haven't seen you in a while. It's been kind of crappy. Anybody knows Debbie? She's amazing. She's a real estate agent here local in Phoenix. She's a good friend of ours. We were able to spend a lot of time together. Debbie's actually, I think, been on buy appointments with me. We've been on ride-alongs and done a whole bunch of stuff together. Whoa, Cody is a babe. I already know that.
Probably like Tommy or someone.
Look at this handsome guy. He's one of our mentorship students as well. He's unbelievable. Him and I were DMing about some stuff we're going to put together for the rest of the students. It's going to be kind of cool. Does Sunday service have to end tonight? There's been times where Cody and I will go like 4 or 5, 6 hours on this thing. And we do appreciate you guys tuning in. We do get emotional income from this. And as much as I wish that this was truly free, so I could say, we do this for free. The reality is, guys, we get paid an emotional income, and we do appreciate it. You know what, guys? I'm going to do something that I've never done before. This is not that crazy, actually. Will you guys do me a favor? I want you guys to follow this lady on Instagram. I want you guys to follow her and tag her. Guess who this person is? Carola is my mother. She had 12 kids, guys. Hey, Tristan, my brother, how you doing? So my mom had 12 kids, guys. I just put her Instagram name on there. My mom, when she was raising us kids and my dad was struggling to survive, he didn't struggle to survive. My dad worked his guts out his whole life, still to this day, works very hard. My mom was a seamstress when my dad was, 12. I mean, think about having 12 kids to take care of. You imagine? I mean, we would go through like 150 eggs a week, like a dozen gallons of milk a week. It was just
like in Costco or like Sam's Club memberships, like mandatory. You got to be like stacking like food for a village.
Right. So my mom is absolutely amazing. She just started her Instagram, and she's going to start streaming how to like do crafts and be thrifty and do all that kind of stuff. So if you guys appreciate what we do for you for free, do me a favor, send my mom messages on Instagram and just let her know she did a good job raising 12 kids. I was over there hanging out with her today, watching some things that she was doing, and give her some support, give her some love, please. Like 12 kids is what she raised, and she still has kids living at home, and I'm 37. She still has kids at home. So give my mom some love, follow her. I just gave you guys her Instagram. If you guys can do me one favor, reach out to my mom and follow her on Instagram and just send her a nice message. So let's get into some questions. We are currently at hour 2 already.
Mm-hmm.
So let's go another 30 minutes. And dude, 2 hours just went by like that?
I know, it flies by.
Wow, 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 wow. Please, guys, follow my mom, send her a message. Bro, congrats on the baby. That's absolutely amazing. There's nothing better. Okay, so Virginia LaFontant. Virginia, why don't you jump on the live? Let's get you on here. If you've brushed your teeth and combed your hair today, I'd like to get you on Instagram. I'd like to get you on here. I'm going to give you the link to get in the live. Please, Virginia, I'd love to chat with you and go through that. Can everyone see how strong what Pace just mentioned? 1,000 SubTo rentals. Your mind will facilitate everything. Yeah, 100%. Cody, honestly, if we went at the pace that we went at for the last 6 months, we would be able to do that not much more time than maybe 3 to 5 years, depending on, whatever.
Yeah, we'll get better. We'll get better, and we'll get better at acquiring them, better at getting them at better deals. I mean, it's just going to continue to grow and get better and go at a faster rate.
Love it. Cody, are we doing automated follow-up or manual?
Manual follow-up for the most part. We have some campaigns that are set up in our Podio that you can click like start drip. If it's on like sellers that aren't really being responsive, our team could set it up where they're starting a drip and it's like texting them once every couple of days and just trying to get like a nudge out of the seller. But we do have something called smartphone integrated into our Podio, so someone can click on their screen and it'll automatically dial the number. So it's the click to call Pace. You know why I smile when I say click to call? We need click to call.
I was going to say Spala, but I didn't want to interrupt your flow. Hey, Sergio, bro. Virginia tried to jump on here, but something happened. So Sergio, jump on the live. I just gave you the link. Jump on the live and let's chat through it. Okay, jump on here. I'm not going to, Sergio, in fact, I'm not going to answer your question unless you get on the live because I want to see your smiling face. Let's get on here. There's Virginia. Come on, Virginia. Hi, Virginia. Did you brush your teeth and comb your hair today?
Yes, my hair is not that great, but.
Cool. So, Virginia, you had some good questions there. Give me some objections off the top of your head. So first off, for people that they can't see all the comments, I can see all the comments. And by the way, guys, I don't purposely skip over your comments. It's just that we have so many that sometimes I miss them. But Virginia, you had a good question. Why don't you bring that up for the audience so everybody can hear it?
Okay. First of all, I want to say thank you. Oh my God. I appreciate you guys. Pace, Cody, you guys are like the bomb.com. Okay. I really, really, really appreciate you guys for all of the content that you guys provide. Cause I know that you could be spending time with your family. You could be doing something else. So I really, really do appreciate it. I've been getting some objections. I'm now just learning about creative, financing and everything.
This is why I wanted you on the live, because I want to hear some objections, because I can create objections all day long on ones that we've gone through, but I just love engaging back and forth. So I appreciate you jumping on here. What kind of things have you ran into?
So one is I don't want to go this route only because I don't want the loan to stay in my name.
Okay.
One.
Virginia, why wouldn't you want them? Why wouldn't you want the loan to stay in your name?
So one seller was saying he kept repeating about the liability, like, if something happens, you know,
So what let's walk through a worst case scenario, Virginia. I'm talking to you as if you're a seller. This literally, I talked to a seller just like this yesterday, recorded this conversation. The seller asked, okay, well, what liability would happen? I go, well, great question. So why don't we go through the worst case scenario? So Virginia, you tell me, what's the worst case scenario? What kind of liability are we talking about here specifically?
Okay. Well, what if you guys stop paying the mortgage?
So if we stop paying the mortgage, you keep any down payment that you collected. You keep any renovations we made along the way, because I'm taking your property. Like, for example, the seller I talked to yesterday, we have to put in about $10,000 to $15,000 in the property. So that in that worst case scenario, you get the property back in a better condition than you sold it to me, and you keep the down payment. I don't really see any liability on your side. I only see liability on my side. I'm the one that has all the risk, because you have paperwork that protect you from losing the house. You end up inheriting the property in a renovated, updated condition, and you keep my deposit. Is there some other liability maybe you're worried about outside of that?
I think that was the only thing.
Well, Virginia, what if I hypothetically, or let's go through this. So Virginia, I'm talking to you like you're the seller. This is literally how I talk to the seller. So Virginia, let me ask you a couple questions you haven't asked me that I think you should. What happens if I buy your property and we keep the mortgage in your name, but I'm the new owner, and then one night the hot water heater explodes and the house floods? What happens?
Yeah, so we do let them know that we would take care of the maintenance, repairs. They wouldn't have to worry about that. If there's a leaking faucet or anything, they won't get a call from us.
Okay, perfect. So let's say the house burns down. What happens?
We would take it, right?
Let's say my tenant burns the house down. What are the next steps? Does the seller even know anything about it? Like, what's the next step?
Right.
Mechanically, how does that work?
Okay, so I would tell the seller that we would deal with that.
Yeah, you say, Mr. Seller or Virginia, this is what I told the seller yesterday. I said, so let's say the house burns down on your property right now. Do you call Wells Fargo? And the seller's like, no. I go, do you call the Wells Fargo when the toilet's leaking? They're like, no. I'm like, okay, well, you'd be in the same position. I would never call you. So let's say that I have an insurance policy, which I do, on the property I bought from you. I then go and do an insurance claim and rebuild the property. Do you really care about any of that stuff? Because you're basically off into the sunset, right? So in that situation, Virginia, where's your liability?
There is none.
Cool. So what if I get abducted by aliens? What if I go bankrupt? What happens in those types of situations? I used to tell people, what if I got hit by a bus? But then I had a seller who was like, don't tell people that story. My brother got hit by a bus. And I was like, oh, shit.
Oh.
So I now say, like, what if I get abducted by aliens? Now what happens? So let's go, like, what other worst case scenarios do you think we have, Virginia? I've already told you about, if I stop making payments, what happens there. I've already told you what happens if there's the house entirely burns down to the last stud.
Mm-hmm.
What happens if I get abducted by aliens or I go bankrupt?
Right. Well, how soon will I get cashed out for the property?
What do you mean cashed out?
As far as how soon will
I refinance out the mortgage?
Right.
Never. The value of me buying the property from you is the value of the mortgage. Mm-hmm. If I don't have the mortgage, there's no value to me, right? Because if your house was worth what I'm paying, you probably would have sold it already. Mm-hmm. The reason I'm coming up to a higher price is because you're giving me something of value. The house is really of no value to me. What is of value to me is the mortgage. So why would I, as an investor, ever want to refinance that out? Let me ask you a question, Virginia. Why would it benefit you if I refinance out the mortgage?
Okay, so that wasn't. So maybe I phrased it incorrectly. So what I meant was, so usually their question is, so for instance, if we say, well, we would do this for maybe 10 years or 5 years, and they'll ask, well, why for that long? Or is there a specific date when, Yeah,
you'll hear this in my recordings. If you go back to my recordings, I don't know if you've ever heard them. We did have some knucklehead that took my recording from Dropbox and was selling them in another Facebook group, so I removed them for a couple of weeks. I've been dropping a little bit more here and there. But you'll hear the seller ask me this in actually Des Moines, the property we just bought not too long ago. The seller says, well, when are you going to refinance out my mortgage? And I said, never. He goes, really? Never? I go, yeah, why would I? I'm overpaying for your property. And he's like, you're not overpaying for the property. I go, well, I mean, you tried to sell with a real estate agent who couldn't sell. You sold to a wholesaler who couldn't perform. Now I'm standing here with a better solution than both of them, and I'm paying more money. And you're telling me I'm not overpaying. Well, okay, well, you're not overpaying. You're paying what it's worth. I go, no, I'm not. I'm paying what your mortgage is worth. So if I'm paying what your mortgage is worth and you're leaving that in place for my value, then why would I get rid of the only value this property even has right now?
Right. Wow. Okay.
You have to realize you don't care about the property. You care about the mortgage. You need to absolutely tell the seller full transparency. In fact, the conversation I had with the seller yesterday, I sat down at their house for lunch. Him and his wife made fresh-made salsa. They hand-made tortillas for me. And I was like, man, what did I do to deserve all this? And his answer is, he says, I've never had somebody so transparent. You absolutely just opened up and told me what your business is about. And I said, here's the reality, Virginia. I'm pretending like you're the seller. I'm asking you to be in a long-term relationship with me. Does it benefit me to not be overly transparent to you?
Right.
I absolutely have to be transparent with you because I want to be in a long-term relationship with you.
Right, right.
So I tell that to them up front. There's no secrets. Let me tell you how I make money. I don't make money by overpaying for the property. I make money because the value here is that I don't have to go out and get another mortgage. In fact, it would actually not be intelligent for me to have an existing mortgage and go get another mortgage just to pay off another mortgage. Where's the benefit for you and where's the benefit for me in that situation?
Right.
I literally talk to the seller just like I'm talking to you, Virginia.
Wow. My God.
You should 100% listen to my recordings because you'll hear my students, the way I talk to them. I'm very stern when they say, when are you going to pay off my mortgage? I say, never. If you were me and I'm overpaying for the property, the only value I'm getting from this is the mortgage. When and why would you ever refinance that out?
Mm-hmm.
In fact, Virginia, hopefully we can agree to this. If I'm paying your mortgage along the way, don't you think it actually improves your credit score? There's actually a benefit to you to keeping your mortgage in place.
Right.
So what is the benefit to you of me refinancing it out?
Right.
Do you have any benefit to you of me refinancing the mortgage? A lot of people will say, well, if I leave the mortgage in my name, then I can't qualify for another property. And then I simply get them on the phone with another one of my sellers and say, hey, Dave, which is the house I currently live in right now, he couldn't qualify for another mortgage. That's why he was trying to sell this one on the market. And then I came along and showed him how to qualify for another mortgage by keeping his mortgage in place. Same thing with Cody. Cody, this way. Sorry, still learning this. Cody, same thing. He lives in a property where the seller bought a brand new home that originally couldn't qualify with 2 mortgages in their name. We just simply show the underwriter of the new purchase exactly what we're doing, and they approve the new loan, allowing the seller to have 2 mortgages in their name.
Oh, wow.
So if I can show you how to do that, Virginia, what would be the benefit to you of me refinancing out this mortgage?
Right.
Actually, when you go get another purchase on another home or another car, doesn't it actually improve your credit? There's nothing better for your credit than to have a mortgage being paid on time every single month.
Right, right.
So I'm actually curious why you would want me to refinance out the mortgage. It doesn't make a lot of business sense to me.
Mm-hmm.
Do you see how I spun that on you?
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much. Wow.
Did I get deep enough on that?
Yes. Yes. I like how you walk through certain scenarios with them as well, which I think I need to do better at.
You have to be a storyteller. Okay.
Yeah.
You have to tell third-party stories. What happens if this? What happens if that? Aliens abducting me. What if the house burns down? Throw out the worst case scenario and then just say, okay, then what? What mechanically happens in that situation? They don't. For guys like me, it's like putting on a pair of pants. It's like super easy. For guys like Cody, it's the same thing. Like we have no problem mechanically working through this stuff, but the sellers don't understand it. So a confused mind
does nothing.
Confused mind always says what?
Nothing.
No, they say no.
Yeah.
A confused mind will always say no. So if you have to clarify the story, you have to tell the story properly so that they go, oh yeah, actually. And now, Virginia, do you believe in what I'm saying? Do you understand why it would actually make 0 sense for the seller to get the mortgage refinanced out?
Yes.
Got it.
Yeah.
What else can I do for you?
That's about it. I mean, those have been my major objections that I've been getting. And once I hear them, it's lose the lead. Like I had one lead recently where it just kind of went to a dead end because he was a little bit curious. After I sent three kinds of offers, he was interested in the subject too. But then he was just like, well, if something happens, liability. He kept repeating that over the phone.
Check this one out. Okay. So this one, I give a lot more than this. You think there's value on this free call, this free Sunday service?
Yes. Oh my God. Yes.
I can tell you by the students in our class, in our mentorship, it's like 10 times more better than this. But here's a really good answer as well. So Brandon N. So you don't worry if the market drops and you own the property in a pretty big negative equity position because you are in for a monthly cash flow spread and you aren't selling. So Virginia, if I was worried about the equity position of your property, would I have ever bought your house subject to at the price I'm buying in the first place?
No.
I don't care about the equity position ever. I care about the equity is going to pay itself off over time. I'm in this for the long haul. I'm not 75 years old. I'm 35 years old. I'm in this for the long game. So as long as I see cash flow, what do I care what the market does? In fact, Cody, do we have any of our tenants not paying rent right now or our lease optionees?
No, we had one that was having some issues and he paid a little bit late, but like not really big issues. I mean, our tenants, our resident options, people, they're not, we're not putting people in there that have like 4 jobs that are just scraping together. Like our biggest requirement is making sure they make 3 times the monthly, rent payment. So we just make sure to vet our people pretty good as far as
Virginia, here's the thing. I'm not buying the property based on the value of the property. I'm buying the property based on the value of your existing mortgage. What do I care what the market does? Mm-hmm. Does the market going up or down mess with my mortgage rate? No, it doesn't, because I have a fixed rate mortgage that I took over from you. So what do I care? All of our mortgages, whether the market's good or bad, in COVID situation, one of the worst economic situations that's happened in 100 years, Cody and I have not worried one bit because all of our mortgages are fixed.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Right.
So Brandon asked a great question. You're going to get that. So actually, you don't get that often. That's one of the questions that you'll hear in some of my recordings. I tell the seller, do you mind if I tell you what you haven't asked me yet that you really should?
Mm-hmm.
I say that kind of stuff all the time. Like, I really want to make sure you ask me questions. Like, how confident building is that? So I say, Virginia, let's say hypothetically COVID happens and the market falls apart, and I bought your house for $200,000, which is what your existing mortgage is, but now the house is worth $100,000. Am I going to walk away from your property now that I owe $100,000 more on it than what it's worth?
That's a good question.
Yeah, here's my answer. If I bought your property based on the value, I would have never bought it in the first place. I bought your property based on the ability for it to cash flow at the mortgage payment. So if you're asking me to refinance the mortgage payment, then you're taking away the only value that I have in the first place.
Right. That makes sense.
Logic and storytelling.
Oh my God. Wow. That's awesome.
Can you imagine ever getting into an argument with me?
I would lose.
Not a good situation. The thing is, here's the first rule number one of getting into an argument: don't pick a fight you can't win, and that's what I only pick fights I can win.
Right. Yeah. You've lost when the seller has nothing else to say.
Right. And you'll hear that in a lot of my recordings with sellers. I go, so what else is there to worry about? I've got this really good one with a guy named Anthony where I walk through and I go, do you mind? I go, there's like 3 questions you haven't asked that I think most sellers should ask. But what happens if the market falls apart? And they go, yeah, that's a great question. I go, okay, so let's imagine this. And listen to my recordings and listen to what I say. At the end of it, the seller goes, yeah, okay, yeah, this makes sense. In fact, most sellers, after I talk to them, they go, can I buy houses subject to as well? Like, how can we do this transaction? Can I learn how to do subject to? Yeah, come down to my office.
Wow. That's crazy. So what's the least amount of years you would lock up a property as far as?
Here's the rule of engagement on balloons. Okay, so balloons are for clowns, and I say that, but primarily you don't want to take over a property that somebody's going to require you to refinance out any faster than 10 years. Okay, so if somebody requires a balloon, Cody and I have a handful of balloons, but they're all at 10 years. Because a lot of bad things can happen, but at the 10-year mark, you basically have kind of weathered out any sort of storm. So let's say that I have a balloon. Actually, Cody, is it Mercury we have a balloon on?
Yeah, on Mercury we do.
So Mercury has a balloon, great house, great area. But when COVID happened, do you think I really cared about the value of that property dropping? No, I have 10 years. Now, if it drops on year 8, do I really worry about that either? Not really. I've cash flowed for 8 years. I've paid down the mortgage for 8 years, and I can probably just sell it on the open market and get done with the property and make a little bit of money.
Okay. That makes sense. So you would absolutely not move forward with the property if they wanted less than 10 years?
No, I ask them why they want 10 years, and I figure out why that is, and then I logic them to death.
Okay. Okay.
And we've had people that say, well, I want a 5-year balloon. I go, perfect. So let's lower the purchase price, and then I'll give you a 5-year balloon, because basically the ability for me to protect myself against the market shift is that 10 years or longer situation. But if you're shortening my protection, which is that balloon, down to 5 years, then I really need to build in some fluff in there to protect myself. And then a lot of times that just gets rid of it.
Right. Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much. Oh my God. I love you guys. And
that's what we're here for. Please follow my mom.
Yes, I will. And by the way, I think we're all waiting for the mystery answer. How much is your coaching? Oh my God.
I think my coaching, I usually say the answer is billions.
Like you're teasing us. Everyone's like, how much is the coaching? How much is the coaching?
I mean, it's going to come out, right? It's going to come out. And I think we asked somebody a question today. We asked somebody the other day in the mentorship, actually, he's having a baby today. We said, were you surprised by the mentorship price? And he said, I was surprised it wasn't 4 times more money.
Wow.
So it's incredibly affordable for people that are ready to take that next step. I mean, look what we're doing for free.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So it's not cheap. Let me tell you that.
Right. Yeah. Do
you think guys like Cody and I should be cheap?
No.
Right. It's no. Billions of dollars.
Hey, I would believe it. So, I mean, who knows?
Well, we appreciate you coming on here. And I look forward to seeing you again. Thank you for brushing your teeth and combing your hair to come on the show.
Thank you so much. Bye, guys.
Thank you. So, Horacio, do you think I would be a good mentor if I gave you my price when I continually tell you to never give sellers their price? It would be somewhat what's the word that I'm looking for? Hypocritical for me to tell you to never give somebody your price. Okay. So let's see. Sarah asked me a question. She said, I want to know your price. And I said, billions. Tristan.
One more good.
Has been in the group for a couple of days. He's one of the founding first members in our mentorship. Tristan, do you think that you've gotten some value for just even one phone call on the other side? How we got deeper, we deeper dive, we show you real stuff. Do you feel like you're getting the value out of that group? Robin Pike. Balloons are for clowns, Robin. Okay, so let's see here real quick. This is something I've been asked constantly. It's been amazing. Thank you, brother. I appreciate it. And we will get out on the links soon. I'm going to Flagstaff for the week, but maybe in the next couple of weeks, me, you, and Sage can get out and play some golf. In fact, I'll probably get you out to some of our charity tournaments so you can come hang out with us. They're easy to win, right? So like I'm a decent golfer. I'm a 7 handicap. When I'm playing a lot, I'm probably down to a 5. But Sage is a +1, maybe a +2. So you'll have a lot of fun playing with him. And if you've won tournaments at your level, which you have, you're probably scratch or +1 as well. So we're gonna have a lot of fun. Let's answer one more question, then we'll tune out. Actually, guys, anybody that's watching, this upcoming week, Cody and I are going to set up. We're going to set up Ryless Dana on a text message platform, and we are going to start text messaging sellers for him utilizing our script. And we're going to do that live. He's one of our probate attorneys. He wanted to get into wholesale, so we're going to show him some wholesale stuff. So sometime next week, I don't know what day, but stay tuned in the Facebook group. We are going to go live and screen share exactly how Cody manages our text team and exactly how we set up our text blast. Cody, what would you say are like the top 3 to 5 things people are going to want to know during our setting up of Ryless Dana in the text stuff?
Top 3 things people are going to want to know is 1, what list should I text? The second thing is going to be, what do I send to them? What message do I send? And the third one is going to be, what do I do when they actually respond and it's not F you?
Right. Love it. Okay. Are you guys still bringing in a Texas attorney for Texas lease options this week? No, he's going to be coming in the next 2 to 3 weeks. He pushed us back, so hang tight for that. But yeah, Brandon, that'll be really good for guys to watch us do it exactly the way we do it, help you guys get some granular knowledge on that. Grace Joe, I appreciate you a lot. I know Cody doesn't get the thanks he deserves a lot. I'm usually the one in front of the camera, but I rely on Cody for a lot of stuff. So I appreciate you guys giving him some love. If you're not following him on Instagram, definitely follow him. And thank you, Rob. I appreciate that. I remember Rob on the call. Rob was like shaking his head on a couple of things like, oh my gosh, I can't even believe this. So thank you, Rob. I really appreciate you saying that. So guys, next week we are going to, Samir, could you answer one of my questions? I love this. Everybody else is saying they're happy with the value and Samir is very upset. Samir, I don't see all the questions, brother. I'm not ignoring them. It's just if you saw how many comments I have to go through as I'm talking to you guys, it's hard to kind of juggle it back and forth. So let's give Samir some value tonight. Sounds like he wants. Okay, so the owner can never refinance. Do you have the owner sign anything that states they cannot refinance their property if you buy the property? Well, the owner can't refinance their property because they do not own it. It would not be considered a refinance. So yes, we have a document in our disclosures that states that if the seller goes to fiddle with the mortgage or anything related to the house, they automatically have to pay a $50,000. We put a judgment in their name for $50,000 and actually sign off on that. That's one of our documents. So no, the owner cannot refinance. Let me ask you a question, Samir. Why would they want to? What benefit does the seller get to refinance a mortgage that is on a house he doesn't even own? Technically, it wouldn't even happen. There's no way that he could. Second off, they sign a document that keeps them from being able to do that. So Samir, my guy, Hopefully that answers your question. Cody, how much to pay acquisition commissions on a creative financing deal? So we've paid anywhere between $750 to $2,500, depending on the type of deal that we get. So sometimes for the acquisition guy, the commissions are as good as a wholesale deal on creative finance stuff. In fact, we just bought one from we've bought a couple where we've paid people who are calling on our leads. So technically our commission salespeople. We did one the other day. We bought 0% finance, 0 down, and they got paid $5,000 for that deal.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's a pretty good deal. That's like a $25,000 wholesale commission at 20%. Like that's a crazy good deal. So yeah, we pay people pretty well. Cody and I do believe in paying the right price. So if anybody's in Phoenix and you guys are looking for a job, you guys want to work for our acquisition team, reach out to us, DM us. We're happy to help you. When are you buying on terms? What equation do you use for the numbers? What are the percentages for terms? Usually, hopefully that makes sense. Alec Bouton, I would reach out to, or I would watch that 16-hour live that I did. I went through a lot through that. Yes, we're going to give you some swag when you go to the ranch. Can't wait to meet you one day, Grace. Cody, final words.
Final words.
How are things going at VA Hub?
They're good.
Tell us about VA Hub. What are you working on over there?
As far as things with VA Hub, it's great because they're actually starting to accept clients for texting now. The first round of clients are able to get a VA that can text for them starting not this Monday, but the following Monday. They're training them this week to be able to start texting for them. So just general text marketing management, cold calling. They're able to do both. And that's what we've been, we were kind of like a beta tester for them. Like with two of our texters, they're cold calling and texting. So it's actually, we're getting the most bang for the buck because they're in between, they're on the dialer. So they have their headset on, they're dialing, and then they're also texting in between when there's, more blank space in the day. Because what a lot of people don't understand is like the best times to dial is between 8 a.m. and 9 a.m. And then the second best time is going to be between 4 and 7 p.m. So there's that gap in the day where it's like they're sitting and not getting a lot of answers. So they're starting to accept people for that. So that's pretty dope. So if anyone needs VAs, a virtual assistant to do cold calling or texting, I would highly recommend it. Dude, happy to hear that. Your husband's great. The thing is, like, we've used so many different services and we'd get so frustrated because of just quality control. And, the thing is with virtual assistants, you usually have to, if you're doing it on your own, hire multiple, hire, fire, and then manage them, control the, the whole process and have to, make sure that they're actually working and it's just a big headache. So what's nice with VA Hub Online is you're actually able to have a success manager that's assigned to you. So like you'll have a virtual assistant that's working for you, and then you have a success manager. So your success manager actually is tracking their hours every day, making sure they're working. Literally every 10 minutes, their screen is getting, a screenshot, you get an end of day report. And then if your VA is sick, they'll replace them with someone else that could work that day. If they are underperforming, they do performance reviews and we'll let them go, bring on someone else. So it just kind of helps like take some of the hands off of work and then actually screen them and train them for you as well. So that's what's been nice is before we started actually having like a company manage our cold callers and texters, that was something I had to do. So whenever they were sick, it was, I was scrambling to pause campaigns and mess with all that. Now they're able to handle that. So it's allowed me to kind of step away from that a little bit, which is really nice, and have the end of day reports. So I don't have to go in myself and see how many calls did they make? How many leads did they actually put in? I get an actual report each day and know what's going on and have a pulse on, is it worth what I'm spending and the results that I'm getting?
Hey, how can Samir or anybody else reach out to VA Hub to get set up with some VAs, bro?
VAHubonline.com.
Love it. And when somebody asks what the price is, it depends on whether they're going to hire a cold caller or a texter, right? So they need to get an interview going with you to have. I didn't know you could type into the comments.
You'll actually set up a call for whenever you're available, and you'll talk to Jasmine or Daryl over at the company, and then they'll basically figure out what you're looking to accomplish and help kind of get you set up on the right start.
Awesome. Okay, guys. So appreciate you guys tuning into Sunday service. We will see you soon. We don't know the next time we're going to do Sunday service. I'm taking the following week to focus on my mentorship guys. Cody is working hard and diligent on 2 or 3 of our new businesses. So we probably won't do Sunday service for a few weeks, but we will announce it a couple of days ahead of time. And we'll see you in the free Facebook group. In the meantime, really appreciate you guys. Thank you so much.